For all the world to hear. It's the best time of the year. Rockin' the holiday. Rockin' the holiday. It's Christmas. Rockin' the holiday. Rockin' the holiday. Rockin' the holiday. It's Christmas. Rockin' the holiday. Rockin' the holiday. Rockin' the holiday.
With the players.
Live direct from hell, Mono.
But hey, enough of my yakking. What do you say? Let's boogie.
And that is my cue to start the show. Welcome to another edition of the Hard Rockin' Sports Show, live from high atop Hard Rockin' Sports Studios in beautiful Seating Monroe, New Jersey. We are your 3-hour weekly get-together where we bring you all the biggest news from around the worlds of hard rock, heavy metal, and of course the wide world of sports. And welcome to Thursday, December the 2nd, in the year of our Lord 2021. That's right. We are in the beginning of the holiday season here at the Hard Rockin' Sports Show. And if for those of you who are seeing, I've got my Holiday Giants hat. And we have opened up the show with our first holiday song, Rockin' the Holiday, by our good friends at Corners of Sanctuary. And I want to thank Mick and the boys for sending that along to us. And again, any bands out there want to let us play their holiday music here, we're going to do so each week during the show. Videos are welcome just as much. And of course, for the next four Thursdays, we'll be rocking in the holiday ourselves here at the Hard Rockin' Sports Show, with no problems with sports news or music news. Plenty to get to tonight. So I hope you guys have had a great week. I hope you guys tuned into the Sunday Audible with John and I and the box. Jeff actually showed up for a few minutes. So this past Sunday, we're back this Sunday at 9 a.m. Make sure you tune over to the Sunday Audible every Sunday morning from 9 to 11 right here on the Sunday Audible Network, along with the Hard Rockin' Sports Network. And guys, it's a big show tonight. Lots to talk about. The Giants and the Jets both win. That's always interesting. Let's see what else we got. Scherzer signs with the Mets. Mets have had a good offseason if they win this year or the next two. I like the strategy. We'll get into the strategy end of it. But if you can't see it, you're not looking for the forest for the trees. But we'll talk about the strategy of the New York Mets. But a good offseason. And I'm going to ask you guys, is Steve Cohen the new George Steinbrenner? You know, Steinbrenner used the back pages of the newspaper and a big checkbook. And it seems like Steve Cohen has got Twitter and a big checkbook. So we'll talk about that tonight. All you Met fans, I'm sure, are thrilled out there with what's going on this year. And for Yankee fans, listen, be patient. I will tell you, I'm very upset with a couple of moves. The few moves the Yankees have made. Obviously bringing back Sanchez is killing me. Voit, Andujar. We let go of Allen and Vasquez and anybody who can run and was athletic, we let go of. So to that end, I'm pissed off. But no major signings. I'll tell you why I'm not bothered by the Yankees and no major signings. Okay, so we also got the new documentary for the Beatles. Get Back is. I'll give you my take on it. I know Jeff hasn't had a chance to see it yet, but I'll tell you guys, if whether you're a Beatles fan or not, I'm not the biggest Beatles fan. I'll be straight up. I like some of their music. I love McCartney. I think he's the greatest musician of our generation. All of that good stuff. I'm not the biggest Beatles fan, but boy, what a dog! First episode was great, and it's boring. No, yes, it's kind of boring. 4 musicians sitting around, but just to be the proverbial fly on the wall at a Beatles writing and recording session, boy, guys, I'm telling you, fantastic. If you are any sort of a documentary fan and you have Disney Plus, do yourself a favor, invest the time. Episode number 1, 3 hours. Episode number 2, I think, is another 3 hours, and then I think you get 2 hours for the finale, which is the Abbey Road performance, which I believe is their last performance as a band. So great backstory. Please get a chance. I want to talk about it more in a few with Jeff. We'll talk about some NFL news. Which NFL team should get blown up? I got a handful of teams I think that at the end of the season will get blown up and start from scratch. And it could be even a couple of our 1 or 2 of our beloved local teams. We'll see. We'll talk about Michael Strahan retiring. Iron Maiden announces a new tour. The Mets' big moves. Brian Kelly leaves Notre Dame for LSU. Not sure what the hell that's all about. Lincoln Riley left Oklahoma for UFC. Is there time for Saquon Barkley to resurrect his Giants career? Should the Giants allow him to resurrect his career with the New York Giants? I want to talk about that a little bit tonight. Let's see. What else I got? I got plenty to get to. We got college football playoff news. Yankees, Mets, Jets, Giants, Beatles. You can't miss it. We got plenty to get to. I see my partner in crime has finally showed up. He was a little late tonight. No big deal. My dad's hanging. We'll get him on quick, but let's get the show started. Again, thanks to everybody for tuning in to the Hard Rock and Sports Show last Thursday morning. We did a quick show, well viewed, especially by our Jewish friends. Our numbers in Israel are up again, and thanks to everybody there for tuning in and around the world. And let's kick the show off. So one way to do that is to get my partner in crime on. He is the sexiest man on his side of the screen. He is, of course, Sleazy Top, Jeff Talwin. What's up, brother?
What's up?
What's up?
Nothing. I see. What do you got going on in the background there?
What in the background?
Yeah. Oh, it's still that same shit. Sorry.
Yeah, it's all my same stuff. I haven't redecorated yet. I'm going to redecorate.
I don't know if you can't see.
Uh-oh. You there?
Oh, there it is behind me.
I see something on the wall. I see your little tree. Is that a tree on the dresser there?
Got a tree here. Got a tree over there. Little
Nice.
trees. It's like a little
Yes,
forest.
I am plotting to do it either the final show or one of the shows from my Christmas room, complete with the tree in the background. So I am plotting to do that one of these Thursdays.
Nice.
Today was a very long day. Huh?
Looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah, me too. I think it's a cool room. I'm thrilled with so far. I'm going to do a little shopping this weekend. I'm going to need a couple more items for the room, but the Christmas season is upon us, Jeff. I mean, I am enjoying every minute. I listen to Christmas music all day. I've been watching Christmas. I watched Christmas Vacation last night. Happened to be on TV. Die Hard the night before. It's all over. I'm all over the Christmas thing this year.
Yeah, me too. You knew that I was in there before.
Yep.
Thanksgiving even came.
Oh yeah.
We went and bought our real tree last week.
Okay.
And it's in storage at
Mhm.
the place that we bought it from. It was a guy that they basically cut all of them down on the same day. So please don't think if you go later on in December you're getting a fresher tree. They're all basically cut at the same time. So we're gonna wait. I think we're gonna pick that up next weekend.
Okay.
And have that installed in the house, so to speak.
Nice.
Then we'll be done. I got to set up the Peanuts Village. That's going to either be later tonight or tomorrow, and I'm anxiously awaiting to see if Santa Claus does something for me that I asked for this year. So I got to see. I don't know.
Okay. I mean, listen. I'm sure if you wrote Santa his letter and you leave out some cookies and milk,
I did. I will.
And you're a good boy from now till then. Maybe Santa will swing by when you go to sleep.
I'm hoping. All I want him to do is dismantle the New York Giants.
Well, he might not need to do that. We'll see what happens. But a good win for both our teams. If we win's a win. I don't never like to lose, so I was happy. I watched the entire Giant game and bits and pieces of the Jets. And while I wasn't impressed with the kids' play, I thought the running backs and the defense played great. So it was a good win over a bad team, but a win nonetheless. Can't remember the last time both teams won on a Sunday. It's been a long time.
Probably around 2005.
Yeah. So, but lots to talk about tonight. Again, like I said, we got the Beatles. We got lots of Mets and Yankees. We got plenty of Jets, Giants, and pro football, college football. Iron Maiden's announced a tour. Jeff, we got I know it's Christmas time, but we got lots to talk about.
That's good. That's a good thing.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I heard you say, I don't mean to hold up your father. I want to, have your father come on. But I got to ask, we got to touch base on those Israeli numbers. I'm curious to see.
We are
you almost slipped. It sounded like you were going to say something maybe you shouldn't have said.
Which was?
I don't know.
At what point? You'd have to.
When you were saying thank you to the people of Israel for tuning in.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say a little something else, but I don't know.
I don't think I had nothing in my brain, but maybe something was on the tip of my tongue that I don't realize.
That's what it sounded like, and then you just caught it before it came out and reared its ugly head.
Anything's possible, but as I watched the Hanes commercial for the Sack underwear, they have their own Sack underwear now, like my knockoffs.
Sack underwear.
Yes, where you hang your sack in the underwear. Like one guy, yes. So,
what happens if God forbid you're in an accident and they get pulled shut or pulled tight? And
I'm telling you, they're not. I had to talk my wife into not buying me anymore because I told her they're not comfortable. So
maybe she likes the way they make little Tommy look.
Well, it's whatever makes my wife happy. I'm all for. They just are not the comfortable brand. So I hopefully will not find any in my
maybe she doesn't want you to wear them to work. Maybe she wants you all slathered up in Vaseline and work boots.
Yeah, sure, that's not the case. That's a picture I'm sure nobody wants at this point, but what the hell? We got a lot to get to. We got I did see something today. I got to get to real fast before my father. I did see the announcement of a new Jeff Tomwinski band that I didn't know about.
Yeah, yes, I'm going to see how this one goes.
Who are the people in this band? I did see. I recognized a couple of people. I didn't recognize everybody.
Well, long story short, this started off with another band looking for a singer, and I contacted Donnie Tranchina to see if he would be interested in singing, being a singer.
Right.
And he was a little. He didn't know the people involved, so he was like, "Well, I don't know." And I was like, he goes, "I'd like to do this or that." So he says he used to do an Alice in Chains thing. So he says, "Well, what about Alice in Chains?" I says, "You used to do that. I like them." So he was like, "Yeah, that sounds good." He goes, "I'll get back to you." So then, like a couple weeks go by, and I didn't hear from him. So I just thought that maybe he went on his way. And
yeah.
And then he called me back, and we got Dom DeRigo and Mike Pavona, this guy Phil Monty on drums, myself, and Don Tranchina as singer, and he's going to revive. I guess version like 912 of Deceiver.
Okay.
So we'll see how this works out. We had practice last night, and it sounded pretty good. I'm very encouraged. The guitar, Mike Pavone is an excellent guitar player. So is Dom. Always good, and it went together well. So we'll see how it goes.
Good for you. Well, glad to hear it. Hopefully, we'll hear some music out of it and see some shows down the line. We'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, well, listen, we got other things. We had somebody else on hold for a month. You know who I'm talking about. We're going to get in contact with that person. Maybe we'll see them in person on the 28th.
I think at this point, all the boys are set up for that. I think the only question is Ron Mormino, but I'll reach out to Ron in a couple of weeks and remind him. But I believe we'll see Jimmy and Paul and Drew
Jimmy Pinto
and Johnny Collins and Bobby Peck. Father Bob will be there, so should be a fun day, a fun evening. Tuesday the 28th. So if anybody's around and down by Mode, Tuesday the 28th, 6 o'clock, we'll be doing a little jam. Everybody's welcome to come in and hang out, jump on a guitar or drums if you want, and have some fun. So we'll see what happens, and let's kick the show off. And let's get my dad on. I'm sure there's plenty to have him talk about. The baseball lockout is in full effect. Maybe he wants to talk about the lockout or the Yankees or the Mets. What's up, Pop?
Not much, guys. How you doing?
Good. What's up, Bob?
How you doing, Mr. Florio?
I was just watching the news today about you knew the lockout was going to happen.
Yeah.
And I just, it's so stupid.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got millionaires fighting the billionaires, and neither one of them gives a toot about the fan.
Mm-hmm.
And it was funny, but what caught my eye was I was listening to, they were talking to these free agents, Scherzer and the rest of them, and they weren't giving their reason why they signed with the Mets or they signed with Atlanta, or whoever they signed with.
Yeah.
Not one of them told the truth.
No, of course not.
It was money.
Of course it is.
It was money.
Max Scherzer had no interest in going to the Mets, except they gave him $43 million.
More money.
Yeah. Scherzer had no interest in going to the Mets. It wasn't his dream to play for the New York Mets.
Scherzer was, they were asking him about why he chose the Mets.
Yeah.
Well, because they play in Florida. My kids are down there. They go to school. I'd hate to take. He got a 4-year-old kitty gone.
Yeah.
You kidding or what?
Yeah.
You mean so if the Giants, if the Mets would have offered him $20 million, he would have took it just so he could be closer to. Just say the truth.
Yeah.
They offered me the most money.
Yeah, I mean,
how's he close to his
a
kid?
very good pitcher, and I wish the Mets all the luck in the world. But you're giving $43 million a year to somebody that's 37 years old.
Well, listen, if you're the Mets, you're here's the thing. And I said I would do this, and I'll do it now. So maybe you and Jeff can comment on this. Here's the simple thing. The Mets had an embarrassing year. Cano gets another suspension. DeGrom's in and out of injuries. The Syndergaards are hurt all year. They hold first place for 100 days. Next thing you know, they finish third or fourth place in the division. They can't get a general manager. The ones that they did have, one guy gets tossed for a sexual assault or sexual misconduct. The other one, it's a DUI. Nobody wants to come there as a general manager. No, they had to change the narrative. So the farm system screwed up. So this guy came out and said, let's throw poop against the wall, and we're gonna make big splashes here and take the focus off all of that. And he did. He did a great job. He got Marte, Espada. He got a bunch of those guys, Estrada, and he got Scherzer. And now he's got the best two pitchers in the league. And nobody's talking about, Zach Scott or Robinson Cano or finishing last. They're talking about the Mets winning the World Series soon. So, he changed the narrative.
What blows me out, I'm listening to them talking about, the owners talking about why they want a lockout. Players make too much money. And 4 days ago, they offered a 37-year-old man. Listen, I don't care who he is. No pitcher is worth that kind of money.
Of course not. Of course not.
I mean, Sandy Koufax, who I saw pitch, and I thought was the greatest pitcher of all time. I mean, you're pitching. How many games you winning? 10, 15 games a year? And I don't know, Jeff. You tell me.
It's hard to disagree with you. A pitcher is only pitching what? If they start like they're supposed to, what do they get? Maybe 30, 35 starts?
They'd be lucky to get 30 to 32 starts a year if they pitch every 5 days.
So they're getting more than $1 million a game. And how many of them are going to last 2 or 3 innings? And some of them are going to last more than that. Yeah. But I agree with Mr. Florio. Yeah, they're definitely not. But the people pay. It's just like a quarterback in the NFL. People will pay the premium money for these positions. And you can't blame the guy that plays that position. If somebody offered you $100 million to be an electrician, I'm sure you would take it, right?
I take it for shit. You wouldn't have to ask me what.
Well, there you go. So these guys are getting paid through the nose. They're not going to say no. That's what it is to it.
I don't think this lockout is so much about the high salaries or caps. There are a bunch of things that this one is. The expanded playoffs. They want to get in some new rules, some changes on the field. Let's see, the universal DH, service time, luxury tax, competitive integrity. Now the competitive integrity is question for me. I know that they have the cap on the how much the teams can pay. You know, I think it's $200 and something million. But the players, I think, want a cap on that. They want teams to spend a minimum. You know, there are teams out there spending $30-something million while there's other teams spending $200 million. And they call that a competitive integrity. So there's a lot of things. I don't think anybody's arguing about money, considering, you know, look at the Rangers. The Rangers just signed two of the big shortstops to 7 and 10 year contracts. So the owners can't be bitching about money, Jeff. There's no way possible.
No, of course not. I mean, they're making money hand over fist too. But I got to ask that thing that you were just talking about, the minimum and maximum, the competitive. What would you call it?
It's called competitive integrity.
Competitive integrity. If you're an owner, if you're involved with a Major League Baseball team, don't you want that team to play and to be successful? That nobody should tell you that there's a minimum or a maximum of what you want to spend. If you have a team and you're not trying to field the best team that you can, you know, then you're going to get shitty players. You're not going to get a return on your investment. Don't you think?
Good, Jeff. Yeah, Jeff. Yeah, Dad.
What you're saying and what the real thing is about it is what the players are bitching about, which I agree with them, is each team, you take Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's in a terrible place. They don't make no money. After they pay out all their salary and everything, they made a profit of $27 million. Okay? And what some of the owners were complaining about is everybody from the luxury tax, let's say they get $50 million, they're supposed to take that money, but a lot of them just take it, put it in their pocket.
Correct.
As a profit.
Yes.
Instead of taking that money, what the players said, which I agreed with them, that money should have to be spent on improving your team.
Correct.
Look at Baltimore. How many years in a row, 4 or 5 years in a row, they've lost 100 games. Come on, even the Giants get a little better.
Yeah.
I mean, how bad can you be?
Well,
they're not putting the money back.
I agree. So, Jeff, the other end of the stick is what they want to put us. They want a hard cap, which they can't get. So they put in a luxury tax. So if you spend over a certain amount of money, you have to then pay X amount of dollars on every dollar you spend, and that goes into a pool for everybody. So what they're trying to do is say, so the teams like the Dodgers, the Yankees, the Red Sox, big market teams can't spend $500 million and take all the players without a penalty. Now the reverse is the players, like my dad said, don't want the owners in Pittsburgh and Tampa and Baltimore to go out and spend, $20 million, and not field a competitive team. There's a bunch of teams that just don't win every year because they don't spend the money. Now, Tampa's a little different. They don't spend any money, but they win every year. They're in first place, playoffs. So it kind of defeats their thought process. But the idea is to keep it competitive by keeping everybody in basically the same tax bracket.
I understand, but you know what? Let me ask you something. Why should the Yankees' success in a big market have to be donated over to Baltimore or Pittsburgh? You want to keep a team in some of these small market towns. And let's use Pittsburgh, for example. An old-time team that's been there for God knows how many years. It would be a shame to hear the Pittsburgh Pirates playing anyplace else other than Pittsburgh.
Right. But
you know what? One day somebody said, we're going to get a team, we're going to put it in Pittsburgh. Well, so be it. They put a team in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, of all sports, Pittsburgh hockey team has done pretty well for themselves. Stanley Cup champions several times in a row and successful seasons.
Sure.
The Pittsburgh Pirates, more often than not, for the last how many years?
Decades.
Have just been god awful since Willie Stargell in the 79 Pirates, I think.
Yep.
Maybe they've only had a handful of winning seasons since then.
Yeah, listen, and that comes to the players' point is force these teams to spend money, and they'll put better competition on the field. And again, at the end of the day, it just forced you'd wind up with guys who are going to play there who are going to make money that they probably don't deserve. You'll wind up with second-tier guys getting A-tier money because they'll have to spend money on somebody, and nobody's going to want to go there. But that's two different points. So this lockout is, listen, this is just the owner's way of forcing things to get done a little faster. nobody cares. They've been going back and forth on this. The lockout means next to nothing. There'll be baseball. It might not be nothing going on till March, but you'll have baseball in this year. They would be completely insane. It's just working out the numbers. How many more playoff teams? How many more playoff series? It's going to be a DH this year. There's no doubt in my mind they're going to have a universal DH. And then baseball, the owners will try to get whatever they can, and the players will get what they can, and everybody will play baseball. So, but
do you blame the NFL on some levels for baseball looking to expand their playoff pool?
Yeah, I do to a certain extent. Yeah, I think I think it's again, to me, there's two ways to look at it. One, you keep more people involved in September by adding more teams, but you dilute the playoffs themselves by doing so. But I do blame the NFL, and the NFL is going to expand more. There's no doubt in my mind.
Oh yeah, eventually, yeah. Yeah,
they will. There's no doubt in my mind. I don't have a problem with adding to the playoffs. I actually heard a good idea the other day. So there's some good ideas to try
baseball
to
make or the NFL.
Baseball.
I have an NFL idea.
Okay, good.
Well, is your dad still on?
Yeah, I think he's still here, right, Pop?
Yeah, go ahead, Jeff.
Oh, I didn't want to take away from him. How would you feel as though if the NFL, instead of cutting back on their season or adding to the playoff pool, started a league-wide playoffs at a certain time, and if when you lose, you're out, and just pad down the field that way?
What do you mean, like during the regular season?
No, say there's 17 weeks, 18 weeks in the season, 17 games.
Right.
Well, let's say from maybe week 14 on or whatever, everybody starts the playoffs. You start a pool, seed them and everything else, and just start running through it that way.
Well, then what would you do with, like, say, okay, so week 14, Jets play the Giants, the Jets win, the Giants are done with their season?
Well, I mean, of course, it would need some refining.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, I get your point.
Because, I mean, you don't have nothing. They want everybody in the playoffs. They want to get as much as they possibly can. So why not just throw everybody in the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, I could see that the last couple weeks of the season, kind of having seedings, having like playoff seedings at that point. I like to think about that a little bit, but that'd be interesting.
Reseed the whole entire league.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I mean, wouldn't have the Patriots and the Colts have been a better Super Bowl than some of the ones we had?
Oh, again, listen, I don't have a problem with that. I think that would be fun to a certain extent, getting into the playoffs and just doing, one plays 14, two plays 13, and whoever the top teams are. And then when it's all said and done, whoever makes the playoffs makes the playoffs. I don't think that's a terrible idea.
Yeah.
So, hey, Dad, what did you think of I think I know the answer, but I gotta rile you up a little bit. What did you think of the Yankees bringing back Sanchez and Voit?
Well, I tell you what, I'd rather have Sanchez more than Voit.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Hardly plays. He's constantly.
Yeah.
And Sanchez. I mean, I think the Yankees ruined him when they tried to teach him how to catch.
Mm-hmm.
I think if they would have left him alone and I don't know what they must have something cooking, because if they're keeping what they got now, they're terrible to watch. It's a shame. And
yeah. Again,
they're telling us.
Yeah.
I think what they're doing is they're waiting for a shortstop. Supposedly they got a kid in the minors.
They got two of them.
He just got out of single A, and he's about 2 years away. I mean, but then, so what you're telling us, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm okay with them. Yeah, I'm okay with them not going after one of these 10-year shortstops. I got to be honest with you. I'm okay with that, because you're going to have too many guys making $40 million. Judge is going to get a big deal. You already got Stanton making big money. Cole's making big money. You bring in a shortstop, whether it's Correa or Story, and you give them, 30-something, $40 million. Where's the rest of the money go? So I have no problem waiting on that. I just want to see a different shortstop. I would have just taken the best defensive shortstop out there, and I'm sorry, catcher, the best defensive catcher out there, and called it a day. So that's where I'm.
I hope so.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. I mean, Sanchez is going to be a catcher this year. We're going to spend another season watching him, loaf to first base and jog back on a pass ball. Yeah, it really is. And Voit, I don't think Voit's going to play, and they're going to wind up signing Rizzo or maybe making a trade for the kid Olsen out of the A. So
I'd rather have Rizzo than Voit.
yeah, listen, I'd rather have Jeff than Voit at first base at this point, but.
Yeah, you can play on my team.
But yeah, but yeah, I was a little disappointed. To say I didn't curse a little bit when I'm driving home and hearing it, and but it is what it is. I knew it was coming because there was nobody really out there anyway. So, but I don't have a problem with the Yankees not doing anything right now because it's early and I don't want the big shortstop. What I want them to do is go get a couple of guys to play center field, a guy to play first base, whether it's Rizzo or as we talk of Freddie Freeman, which I would love to steal him off the Braves.
That's not going to happen.
Listen, at this point, who knows?
To have him on,
yeah,
he would be, but I just don't.
Yeah,
I mean, he swore to God that he doesn't want to leave Atlanta.
Yeah, I know.
He won his ring, so
that may be the thing. Now, maybe one of those things. Go play for the Yankees, and who knows? But I'm not disappointed with what's going on for the Yankees. I don't think there's much they're gonna do, and they didn't need to make the splash that the Mets did. The Mets had to make the splash to take everybody's attention off of what was going on in the offseason with nobody wanting to be their general manager. Also fired their manager. Syndergaard leaves. It's just been a disaster. And I think Steve Cohen just said, listen, I'm going to throw a ton of money at this, and I'm going to change everybody's perception and give us a chance. Yeah, but listen, they got to win. They got to win.
I hope you don't turn out to be another, what do you call it?
Steinbrenner?
That he's playing on a team with it and not scoring any runs.
Well, I said I opened the show with it and maybe both of you guys can address this. I think Steve Cohen's the next George Steinbrenner. He's all over Twitter, and George, we all know, was all over the back page. Steinbrenner was always over the sports back page, and big checkbooks. I think he may be the new Steinbrenner. Just throw money at people, and if it works and he wins a World Series this year or next year, I think he'll be applauded. If he doesn't, and Scherzer comes here and doesn't perform, then he'll be a laughingstock.
Yeah, well, I don't know about
We'll see.
Like you say, he'll just try to clean up his stuff. All right, I'm gonna let you guys go. Enjoy your weekend, Tommy. I'll see you over the weekend.
I will definitely do that, Pop.
Okay, and Jeff, you take care and say hello to everybody.
I will. See you later, Mr. Florio.
That's my dad. He checks in every week with us.
Nobody else is checking in here. What's going on?
I don't know. It's quiet out there tonight, Jeff. I don't know. Holidays and all that good stuff. So we'll see. Listen,
maybe everybody's out there Christmas shopping, buying.
It's possible. So listen. If it's just me and you, then it's just me and you. When we do this for the fun of it, anyway. If nobody's out there, then if the tree falls in the forest, does it make a sound, Jeff? I'm not sure, but we make a sound here every Thursday night, 7 to 9:30. So we're glad to have you guys with us, and hopefully you're with us and enjoying the holiday season. You see, I got my festive Giants hat on, and I got all my Christmas classics being DVR'd. I'm gonna have a nice busy weekend. Jeff,
I didn't have to DVR one. I have them all on the DVR from last year.
I'm going to throw some holiday movies at you. Tell me if you've seen them, and give me your short. Give me a yays or nays on whether they're good or not. Okay, I'm not sure how many of the new classics they say they're classics. I don't know how many of the new ones you've watched, but I'm curious. So I'll throw some at you. Ready?
Go for it.
Elf.
Never seen it once. Do not like Will Ferrell.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I've tried to watch it. But I can't seem to get through it because it's that same stupid character he plays in every one of them.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I have set up to my DVR to film it, to record it, and I'm going to try to get through it because everybody tells me how great a movie it is. Okay, next one is Fred Claus. It's all about Santa. Yeah, it's all about Santa Claus's brother Fred.
No, I've heard of it, never seen it.
All right. Well, I've been told it's another classic. It's all about how Santa has a brother who gets no limelight, played by Vince Vaughn. So I got to. So that's something I'm going to have to check out. I promised myself to watch all the holiday classics, and these are supposed to be classics. So I will check them out. So there's a couple I wanted to throw at you. I'm trying to think. There was the third, I think.
You know what I do like to try to catch? I like to find, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it this year, I don't know if we did it last year. We did do it last year, I believe. I like to find the oldest version of A Christmas Carol.
Oh, wow.
Every year. Every year. One year we found one that was so bad.
Yeah.
It was just like the video was so bad because it was so old. Like you could barely see the characters and everything. It was just like it was all white, and you had to see it to understand it. But it's some of them. I found ones from like the early 30s.
What's up there, Matt? Yeah. Would you say, was it the Alistair Sim? Is Alistair Sim or Alistair Cook?
I don't even know, dude. I think it was like from 1933.
No, I'm talking about there's the classic one that everybody watches.
No, but this one was older than that.
I know that there's at least one older version of that. I prefer the Odd Couple version of the Scrooge than it was. How about the Bill Murray Scrooged? Have you ever watched Scrooged?
I've seen parts of that. My actual favorite Scrooged, is the one with Mr. Magoo.
Yes.
That one I make sure I have that. I bought certain ones, so I have them.
That is a classic. I would agree. I would agree.
It on my iPad, so I watch that.
I'll tell you one that you have to go onto YouTube to watch. It's my favorite. It's one of my favorite all-time Christmas animations. Is Fat Albert Christmas Special.
Never even knew that one.
Dude, it is classic.
Christmas in the Hood.
Christmas in the Hood, baby. You got anything that's politically incorrect, I am all over.
Yeah,
I'm all
Bill
over.
Cosby had a lot to do with that. So man.
Yes. Yeah, it couldn't be any more. You can't be more politically incorrect than Bill Cosby.
Well,
well,
a lot of things. Never mind, just politically incorrect, socially incorrect, morally incorrect, legally incorrect.
I'm telling you, you probably can't find it anywhere but on YouTube. So YouTube, take 20 minutes and watch Fat Albert Christmas Special. Can't beat it.
Put it in there now.
Okay.
To see where I can watch it later. Fat Albert Christmas Special.
Yes, I have it actually on VHS tape. My wife, the very first Christmas, my wife and I were dating. She got it for me. I don't know how she found it, but she found it, and I still have it.
Fat Albert Christmas Special from 1977.
It's classic, a classic.
God,
when you get a chance. He's sitting
they
around.
have another one, the Fat Albert, the Hey 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 Holiday Collection.
I never saw that. I'll have to look that up myself now.
That's over an hour, that one.
Oh, I'll have to watch that. I'm a big fan of the animated Christmas. Anything animated. Rudolph is being taped this weekend. I think I got Rudolph on tape now, or it's coming up this weekend, I believe.
I have Charlie Brown, Mr. Magoo, Rudolph, and then movies I have. Well, that's The Great Pumpkin. I guess only those I got. That's about it.
Santa Claus is coming to town. You got to get.
I have that on the TV. The Year Without a Santa Claus. Santa Claus is coming to town. The Grinch. I find a newfound liking in the Grinch.
You know what? So have I. I did not and will not watch the Jim Carrey Grinch version. No. I can only watch the cartoon. Who sings the Grinch song, Jeff?
I can let you know.
I know who sings it.
Who?
Thurl Ravenscourt.
Yeah, you sure about that?
Thurl, it's either Ravenscourt or Ravenscroft. Ravenscroft, I think it is. You can look it up.
Hold on, let me see.
Thurl Ravenscroft.
The Grinch.
Yep.
Man, I don't even know if I don't have it.
Really?
I know I have it. I gotta look for it. Yeah, and it's Earl's Ravencourt.
Thurl, Thurl Ravenscroft.
Yeah.
Look it up. I'm almost positive that's the last name. The first name I'm 100% sure of.
Thur.
Thurl.
Under him.
All right, you're gonna have to look it up on YouTube.
Yeah, I have to. I bought the song.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, of course. I got all of this shit, like that.
Gotcha.
Oh, there we go. I'll find it now. Yeah, Thurl Ravenscourt. You're a mean one.
There you go. Gotta love it. Thurl sings, got a beautiful bass voice there.
Yeah, I could have swore if you told me that was James Earl Jones, I would have believed it.
Yes, so, but the holiday is in full bloom here at the Hall Rocket Sports Show, and we'll be enjoying that. But yeah, for you Met fans, you're already enjoying a great holiday. Just for the record, let me run this down for you fast. So Max Scherzer will be getting $43 million for the season. It's $43,333,333.33. That is his season. That's $7,222,222.22 per month, all the way down to $13,541.67 per pitch.
Yeah, if he pitches X amount of pitches.
100 pitches per game for X amount of starts. So
Jeez.
Congratulations to Steve Cohen and the Mets. Why
do you sign this guy at 37 years old to a 3-year deal?
Because honestly, Jeff, he listen, sports are a little different now. 37 is not what it used to be. There are guys who are still performing at a high level, obviously, in today's days in a lot of sports. And to be honest with you, he pitched great last year. Could have easily been the Cy Young. And he stays healthy, relatively healthy this year. The Mets will have the two best pitchers, I think, in baseball on their team.
Well, you know what? That remains to be seen because DeGrom got shut down early.
Well, that's
and this guy Scherzer, even though we had this conversation just a couple of years ago when DeGrom won his Cy Young, his first Cy Young or his only Cy Young, whatever it was. I mean, 37 years old. Sooner or later, the guy's not going to be able to reach home plate. And it very well may come during his contract.
Oh, absolutely. I would agree with you. Probably will come through during this contract. Yeah.
Everything that you said just a few seconds ago, where, 37 nowadays isn't like 37 years ago, 37 years old years ago.
Yep.
You're 100% right. It's not. But it certainly seems that when these guys drop off, they just like everything's going and they just go right down. And I would have no reason to believe that Scherzer, the same thing's not going to happen to him.
Again, at any point, the arm could fall apart. He could stop making the pitches. None of us know when that day is going to come when Tom Brady can't throw the ball 15 yards, when Max Scherzer can't crank it up to 97, 98 miles an hour. Nobody knows when that day is going to show up when you just can't do what you used to do. Until then, you take the shot at it. For the Mets, they had to go out there and make a splash, and they did it. Again, I wouldn't have done it to spend $43 million on a 37-year-old pitcher, but I understand why the Mets did it. They're going for it. They're going to try right now.
$43 million a year on a pitcher.
Yeah, for 3 years.
Spending some money.
That's cash. They have the richest owner in baseball, and they're going to go spend his money. And if he's willing to spend it, what the hell, man? Well, we'll see. We'll see how it plays out.
Whatever.
So, Jeff, let's talk a little more sports. Do you want to go NFL? Do you want to go Jets and Giants?
Whatever you want to do, Tom. I have stuff to say about all of it.
All right, let's go NFL a little bit here. I want to talk a little about the standings right now.
Okay.
All right, and obviously I want to start in the AFC East, where the surprising New England Patriots are 8-4, and Buffalo has not looked great. They have a big game coming up on Monday night. What's up there, Big Goog Monty Lou? This is a big surprise to me. Not only how well the Patriots are playing, I thought they'd finish second in the division and be on the cusp of a wild card, but how mediocre Buffalo has played. And this is a big game. Right now,
difference in the way that they're playing, isn't there?
Huh?
There's a difference in the way that they're playing.
Yes. Yes.
Man, there's Chinese food for you.
There you go. I have to tell you, I'm very surprised the Bills are not playing more consistently or consistently well. And you got to love what Belichick's doing up in New England. I mean, let's be honest. Nobody would have thought this team with a rookie quarterback is 8-4 and in first place week 12 of the NFL.
Well, you know what? If you remember in the beginning of the year, Buffalo was doing pretty good for themselves.
Yeah.
A lot of teams have turned it around compared to what they were playing. Kansas City right now on top of their division 7-4. Just a couple of weeks ago, weren't they like 3-4 or 4-4 or something? And then they won 4 in a row. So they were actually 3-4 at one point in time.
Yes, they were.
So, certain teams are starting to come on. You got a Tennessee no matter what happens, that they seem to have problems. They're still 8-4,
Correct.
and they've lost 2 in a row.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, you just don't know what's going to happen in this league. You got Indianapolis. They seem like 2 games away or 2 games out of first place.
Mm-hmm.
But when you look at the difference between them and the other teams behind them in their own division, it's like you realize they're closer to the top than they are the bottom, of course. But, you know, a lot of people predicted them to make some noise this year. You know, do they get hot? And does Tennessee falter a little bit? And does Indianapolis take a jump and go for the division? You know, there's a lot of things that are changing every week in the NFL. And they're happening. It's just like a big wheel, it seems. And somebody's getting run over every week.
Yeah, and listen, you'll get teams that play well for 2 or 3 weeks in a row, and then all of a sudden they get stomped by Tennessee is riding high. All of a sudden they lose to the Texans. You got teams like Indianapolis who are playing well. They go out and they lose to the Bucs last week. You know, the Bucs come back and beat them. Let's see. The Cincinnati looked like they were hanging off the vine. All of a sudden now they've won 2 straight games, and they're playing well.
The only teams that have been consistent are the bad teams.
I would tell you you're right. I would tell you that, the Packers seem to have gained a little bit of momentum here. I mean, what's up with the Cowboys? I mean, the Cowboys all of a sudden best offense in the league, but their defense is playing great. They've lost 2 straight games they shouldn't have lost. What about the Rams? Everybody had the Rams as the best team in football.
You say that about the Cowboys real quick, but the Cowboys who have lost 2 in a row, and Washington that's won 3 in a row, and the Cowboys still have a 2-game lead.
Correct, but again, it's all starting to fall apart a little bit. And the Cowboys playing tonight. They're playing New Orleans in New Orleans with Taysom Hill, who got his big contract extension last week. So we'll see how that works out. But listen, I think
New Orleans lost 4 in a row too. Yeah,
right now, and again, so by common sense, I take the Cowboys, but going by what's been going on in the league, I tell you, watch out for the New Orleans tonight at home. Cowboys are reeling a little bit. New Orleans has lost 4 straight. New Orleans is going to have a big game tonight. Why? Because that's just the way the NFL is this year. How the Rams falling apart 3 games in a row? They were 7-1, now they're 7-4.
Is there any teams right now that you thought were going to be way different that are playing better than you thought?
Playing better than I thought?
Yeah.
Frisco would be 1. I didn't think Frisco would be 6-5, but they are. Let's see. I got to tell you, not too many. Tennessee surprised me, but I didn't know who was going to win that division. I just didn't think Tennessee would be 8-4 right now.
That doesn't surprise me simply because, the Deshaun Watson shit going on in Houston. Mm-hmm. Jacksonville just look like they're going to be a terrible team forever. Indianapolis with Wentz, if he stays healthy, he gives them a chance.
Yeah.
But he's always getting hurt. So
yeah, I agree. So again, right now in the AFC, you got to watch out for the Chiefs, obviously. The Broncos, for some reason, they seem to keep winning. You can watch out for a lot of teams. And, watch out for the Miami Dolphins. They've won 4 straight games. They got the Giants at home that, you can easily put them on a 5th win in a row based on the way their defense is playing. They get enough offense. Brian Flores is a good coach. Watch out for the Dolphins. It's not in this league or anywhere else. It's who gets hot at the right time, especially at the end of the year. And right now, the Patriots have been flying for weeks. You gotta like the way the Miami's playing right now. They could sneak into a playoff spot. I looked the other day. Everybody's still involved. Other than Jacksonville and the Texans and maybe the Jets, everybody else is involved. Has got a shot for a playoff spot.
What do they take? The top 8 teams in each conference?
Top 7, I think it is.
Top 7. Well, okay. So AFC, we got Baltimore, New England, Tennessee, Kansas City, Cincinnati, Buffalo in 6th place, Chargers in 7th place. Then you got the Las Vegas Raiders, but Pirates, if you will, and Denver. And then rounding out the top 10 would be Indianapolis. In the NFC, you got Arizona, Green Bay, Tampa Bay, Dallas, Rams, Niners. 7th place. Take a quick guess. 7th place.
Yeah, the Washington Redskins, 5-7, 5-6.
Yep. You got the Minnesota Vikings, Atlanta Falcons, and Saints rounding out the top 10. And then in the as far as the the also rans in the NFC, Philly, Carolina, the Giants, Chicago, Seattle, and Detroit. I don't see any one of those teams knocking on the door, to be honest with you.
No, I think you can get down as far as I think you can get down maybe as far as the Falcons. I'd say probably Minnesota is where the bubble starts to get there. Minnesota, maybe the Falcons make a run. The Eagles were up, but they've fallen now. There's some teams still hanging around in this, Jeff, in both conferences. So I don't know where this goes, but I mean the Browns. Here's a surprise: the Browns. I thought the Browns would win that division, probably go to the Super Bowl this year, and they're right now the 11th place team in the NFL.
Yeah,
the AFC.
A lot of people, we talked about them. We've been talking about them for a couple of years, and they just never seem to get on track. And then this year, everything with Beckham, Odell Beckham, and give them a little notoriety there in the papers and on the news. But I don't know. I just don't think that they're ever going to get it together. That team.
I want to bring this up. So keep that list in front of you for a minute. I got a list of a bunch of teams I think are ready to be blown up.
Hold on, keep going. I never plugged my computer in.
Oh, okay. Hard Rocket Sports, Jeff and Tom hanging out every Thursday night, 7 to 9:30. Glad you guys are joining us. We got the holiday spirit here at the Hard Rocket Sports Show, and we will do a little something each week. And make sure if you're a band out there, you got some holiday music, you want to send it along to us. Thanks to Mick Michaels and everybody at Corners of Sanctuary who sent us their holiday classic, Rockin' in the Holiday. We played that to open up the show tonight. And also, I want to mention our good friend Mark Scott, Trickster Drummer. I don't know if he's former Trickster Drummer at this point. I'm not sure how to denounce that, but Mark's got a line of vodka coming out called American Vodka, which will be coming out in early 2022. So we're looking forward to that. And again, we got the holidays here. We're going to have our Christmas show on the 23rd, our year-end show on the 30th. We're looking forward to that, Jeff and I, and we'll be here Thursday night, God willing.
You got to think the big year-end show is where we go down the list and see who's no longer here.
Yes, you do that every year. You run off the people who passed away in sports and music.
It's almost like reading off the Chinese menu sometimes, man.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So, anyway, staying in with our topic of NFL, I have a few teams that I think at the end of this year have to be blown up. And when I say blown up, Jeff, it's time to make major changes. Now, I'll stay away from the two local teams because we goof on that all the time, and I think they're both in a situation where some changes are going to get made. What I'm not sure, but I'm going to give you some teams around the NFL that I think at the end of this year, coaches are gone, maybe quarterback changes, big changes in philosophy have to happen. And you tell me what you're thinking. If you want to add your own to it, please do. Ready?
Okay. Let's see what you got.
First one I got, Jeff, is the Cleveland Browns. I think the Browns have been running around with all these number one picks and Garrett and Baker Mayfield, and they acquired Beckham and Jarvis Landry, and they got Kareem Hunt and all these stars, and it amounts to next to nothing. And at some point, I know they've had a ton of coaching changes over there. They've had all sorts of different philosophies, but at some point, you're going to have to tear it down and start all over, make some trades, get rid of some bodies, and change the culture there, because that team should be winning, Jeff, and they're just not.
It should be winning, yeah. But, I mean, when you say make some changes, what are you talking? Coaches, quarterback, players, what?
Yeah, and maybe all of the above, maybe some of the above. I'm not sure. Right now,
he's ready to give up on Mayfield yet. I don't know his stats for the year.
It's not pretty. But here's the bigger problem, Jeff. He's had Beckham already, had the father nail him. Some of his teammates have nailed him a little bit. And another one of the players' fathers have come out and blasted him. There seems to be a lot of internal strife in that locker room when it comes to Baker Mayfield. So that's why I think it might just be time to make a move and change. Now, I don't know if Stefanski, the head coach, is considered a good coach there or not, but it may be time to trade Baker or release him and maybe move on to something else, because it just Jeff, at some point they got to win a division. They're not even making playoffs, let alone win a division.
You got to see. I mean, you also had Pittsburgh that had a stranglehold on that division for a while. They're falling back a little bit. Baltimore somehow, some way is always at the top of that division. Now you got Cincinnati. I mean, there's still time left in this season. Let's see what happens if they make the playoffs. They made the playoffs last year, didn't they?
Yeah, they did, but they got bounced. And, again,
when you go how many years, 19 years without even making the playoffs, or you make the playoffs.
I got you. But so last year they had a decent year. Things came together a little bit. They made the playoffs. They got beat. Okay, no problem. So you expect the next level, the next move up to change up. And this year they're 6-6. They played very little football, very little good football. They've had to trade Beckham. They got problems in their locker room. I think it might be time to blow that team up and make some moves and start all over again. But that's just one of my teams. The next one I got for you is the Seattle Seahawks. Russell Wilson can't stay healthy. They can't keep him on the field. That team is a bore to watch. They're losing at home consistently. Their coach is 70 years old. I think it's time for the Seattle Seahawks to get blown up and start all over again.
I heard rumors that, does Russell Wilson get traded at the end of the season and everything? Well, that remains to be seen, and we will find out sooner or later. But I got a question.
Okay.
Do you fire a coach like Pete Carroll that got you to the Super Bowl a couple times and feel it a pretty successful team, or do you let him go out on his own accord? That's he may want to say, I'm going to coach one more year after this. I want to give it one more shot. This is what I need. This is what I want. Give me one more shot.
Again, it's a good point, Jeff. I don't know. I would say this, though. You're probably not going to have Russell Wilson back there next year, or maybe you shouldn't have him. You need to fix this team. Do you want to give Pete Carroll a chance to fix it, and then it doesn't, and you put this thing behind it? I mean, he hasn't put a good team together in a couple of years, Jeff. To be honest with you, I would say if he was a 50-year-old coach, I'd say maybe at 70, I think it's time to part ways, kind of like the Giants did with Tom Coughlin, and I think it's time to put this to bed and move on and start all over again.
I don't know. I hear you what you're saying, but you've also been very critical of the Seahawks in the past. And,
sure, absolutely.
And Russell Wilson.
I dislike both those guys. Absolutely.
What's that?
I dislike Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll, but this is just looking at it from the outside, saying this team is bad at home now. Never was. Their defense is terrible. They can't keep Russell Wilson healthy. They had all sorts of controversy before the season starts. I think there's a lot of stuff up there.
This is also a guy that took a 7-9 Seahawks team to the playoffs and kicked them off, started them off winning and getting them into the playoffs. I remember they weren't exactly the greatest of teams for a while, but you got to think of what he has done. So, I mean, they're not just going to – see, that's the problem with legends. And I said this to John, I believe, in one of our chats when we were going off.
Yeah.
The problem with legends is that they don't know when it's time to go.
Right.
And they always think that they're going to have one last hurrah. And then if you're the one that gets rid of the legend, you're the bad guy.
True. Absolutely.
So when you think about who some of these guys are that you're talking about, Pittsburgh with Ben Roethlisberger, Big Ben. The New York Giants just a couple of years ago with Eli Manning. Okay. Tom Brady in New England, and then he goes to Tampa Bay and wins still. But, the guy that pulls the trigger on and be like, okay, listen, that's it. Look how that worked for McAdoo when he took Eli out of the game and benched Eli. The guy hasn't even been in the league again.
True.
So you make the wrong move, depending on who it is, don't get me wrong. And that's it. Your career is fucked. I'm not saying that, Pete Carroll is going to win again and have another 10 years of success. Probably not. But, I would definitely talk to him after the season. If he says, I want to give it another year, if I don't do good next year, that's it, I'm gone. But if I improve the team and we get to the playoffs, I may want to go one more year and go a second year. I don't know. What would you think of that?
Again, I know he's probably held in a high regard up there. I also think that there's a little bit of a sentiment of that they probably want to get a younger coach, bring in a name, and rebuild. So again, do you have faith that he could do it? I don't know. I'm not up there. I would just say it's been a few years since that team was a dominant team, and he hasn't fixed what ails them to this point. Why do I think that at 70 years old he's going to do that? Now, does he deserve another one? I don't know. In today's standards, Jeff, he's there a very long time. So
without a doubt, he's there a fucking forever.
Yeah,
but that's the thing. They got to stay in these positions forever. Him, Andy Reid, Mike Tomlin.
Yep.
These are guys that got to stay in their positions for God knows how many years because they were successful.
Correct.
One Bill Belichick.
Sure.
You have one bad year, and that's it. Everybody's calling for your head. They forget. They have very short-term memory.
Of course. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, listen, everybody after last year thought Belichick was done. It's time to move on. Maybe it's time to, for Bill to step out. And then look at this year's team is 8-4 with a rookie quarterback. Yeah, I agree with you. Listen, it is what it is, but that's just another team that I think is ready to be blown up. The other team I'll give you is the Atlanta Falcons. I think the Atlanta Falcons have been terrible since they blew that Super Bowl. I've said it for years. They should blow that up, change quarterbacks. Matt Ryan has just not gone to the second level. And, I'm sorry, but, I think that's a team that at the end of the season should be blown up.
I agree with that. The only thing I disagree with is that Matt Ryan, I think, falls into that legends category for that team.
Based on what? Based on what? He's
the amount of time he's there. He took a team to the Super Bowl. He almost won the Super Bowl. And now he's not playing with Julio Jones. You don't have Julio Jones anymore. So they're going to turn around and say, well, you don't have any tools. Calvin Ridley decided that he's fucking nuts.
Yeah.
Or whatever's going on. So you don't have him at all anymore. Mm-hmm. So you don't know what the story is with this guy.
If you're going to blow it up, you're going to blow it up, just get rid of the coach, or you're going to blow it up and get rid of the coach, the quarterback, the GM?
You don't know. I mean, do they turn around and say, we're going to, we feel as though that we're a tight end, a running back, and a wide receiver away from contending, maybe a few defensive pieces. We'll front sign a few free agents. We'll go after a few names in the draft, see where we end up, and take it from there. You don't know.
No, I don't. But from what I see, they keep patching it together every year, and it's just not working. So for me, that's a team that I would blow up and start all over with. And the only other one I kind of thought, I think it's time, and judging by my dear friend John Marhefka, is Pittsburgh Steelers. It might be time for Pittsburgh to blow that up. Pare that roster down. New quarterback. Obviously, I think Ben's done it this year. I don't think either one of us are looking at Big Ben for more than the rest of the season. They're in last place. They've been spotty at best. The question becomes, does Mike Tomlin survive? Mike Tomlin is a guy who's had a lot of success. He's had a couple great jobs last year. Did a great job last year, but at some point, maybe it's time to move on to their fourth coach.
I don't know, man. Once again, legends. What can I tell you? You got two of them in that team. You got a coach and you got a quarterback. Don't get me wrong. Somebody in the front office has got to be sitting there like, God, please let one of them go. Let both of them go. Somebody has to go.
Yeah.
But, could you imagine, do they riot in Pittsburgh if they let both of those guys go in the same year?
I don't know. It's a question for a guy like John who's a diehard fan. I'm curious how he would react. I think at this point.
Nothing against John.
Go ahead.
Okay, but for as long as we've been knowing and doing the show, he's been extremely critical of Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh wins.
Tomlin, yes, absolutely.
He's critical. It's great.
Yeah,
I love it. But you sometimes you can't ask somebody like him because he's so biased against some of the people on this team. Yeah. It's like Tomlin could go out and have an undefeated season. And win the Super Bowl, and he'll be like, well, why did he score 30 points in that game instead of 31? It's just how it is.
No, you're 100% right. I question that one because I don't know if it's just a quarterback change will do it there. And then, has Tomlin still have the locker room? They're not playing well. So I again, he's there 15 years. It's a good run. I myself would not get rid of the guy.
Tomlin.
Yes, I would not. I think he's done a good enough job there. But maybe it's time to maybe change the coordinators. Maybe it's time for a different philosophy on certain things. But it's hard to argue that he's had a major amount of success. 2 Super Bowl. He's been to 2, won 1. The guy's been successful. They've won multiple divisions, and it'd be hard to say. But that's another one that I think is ready to get blown up. The other one I thought of, Jeff, and I know you're going to disagree because you're a big fan of the team, is the Saints. And at some point, the Sean Payton era's got to go. You got 2 quarterbacks or 3 quarterbacks on that roster. None of them are any good. To me, that's a team. Michael Thomas is probably never going to come back and play for that team. I think the Saints are ready for a big, big redo.
Well, they had salary cap issues year after year after year, the Saints.
Right.
So I kind of agree with you. I think that with Sean Payton, though,
go ahead.
Is it? Well, not so much that, but yes, is it him that is he going to want to try to rebuild this team? Because I think that's what he's doing. We're trying to do it with Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston. Winston was playing all right, but he just wasn't getting enough yards. He was throwing touchdown passes all over the place.
Yeah.
But he wasn't getting any yards. It was 170 yards a game and shit. He wasn't doing
he was throwing 4 touchdowns, but it was 140 yards of passing. Yeah. But do you think, though, Jeff, that you're just throwing a Band-Aid over an axe wound when you throw, Taysom Hill or Jameis Winston or Trevor Siemian? I know Simeon's in there because of injuries, but, to me, it's almost like, okay, let's blow it up. And bring in a veteran quarterback, a better veteran, or do we go rookie like the Jets did, or some of the other teams do, and then build up, start from scratch. Pare down the roster, young roster, inexperienced and inexpensive, and then build it up again. I think right now a lot of these teams just want to throw veteran quarterbacks at it, or veteran players in spots where they should be building toward the future.
I don't know. I mean, listen, I can't see trying to rebuild your team with Taysom Hill. He's not a quarterback.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe he's a nice change of pace piece.
Yeah.
To have
Swiss Army knife.
But when he's on the field, he's got to be accounted for. But if he was going to be a quarterback, somebody else would have come knocking and asked for him. That's one thing.
I agree.
Okay. Jameis Winston, you know what? I don't know whether to say is the experiment done. I don't know. I don't know what Sean Payton's mindset is, but here's somebody that you actually got something out of. The guy had 30 touchdown passes with 30 interceptions and, threw for over 5,000 yards. So, I mean, the guy, isn't that he's awful. You don't throw for 5,000 yards because you're an awful quarterback.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the guy has proven that he could throw the ball a little bit. Do you take a chance and see what you can do with him? Maybe, but now, he hurt his knee. So now what's the story? Is he going to be okay? Is he going to be able to play? Is he going to be able to come back and be the same player? Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if Sean Payton wants to stick around. I don't know how old is Sean Payton. He's got to be about 60, right?
I would say I would think he's in his mid-60s, if you ask me.
All right. Well, so let's say he's 60 for our thing right now. Okay, between us and 65. So we'll call him 60.
Actually, I'm sorry, he's 57.
57?
Yep.
So he's still got some time. Maybe he says, why should I go someplace else and rebuild that team when I got this team here? Sure. But, once again, that's going to be that front office. Are they going to want to keep him? Are they going to want him? I don't know.
Yeah, very true. All right, let's get off the blown up teams, and I'm going to ask you about the Rams a little bit. You're a big Matthew Stafford fan. He seems to have a penchant for throwing pick sixes. And again, can't seem to win the big games. Is Matthew Stafford destined to be the guy who just can't win the big one?
I don't know, because he came out of the gate fast.
Yep.
They were having a good time. They good stretch. Mm-hmm. Then they hit a couple bumps in the road, and they're still hitting them. So, they have plenty of time. They're not going to fall to the wayside. I think they were, what I'd say, like 4th in the league in their conference as far as in the playoff position, something like that. So, listen, they still got plenty of time to turn it around. Actually, they're 5th, not 4th.
Okay. But all right, let's say it keeps going the way they are, and they make the playoffs as a wild card team, don't win the division, make it as a wild card, get bounced first game.
Well, it's not a good look for them, without a doubt. Definitely not a good look. But I mean, if they actually get into the playoffs and they win a playoff game, I think that's going to be a disappointment. I think that they're going to need.
What's a successful? I was just going to ask you the question, so go ahead and answer it. What is a successful season for the Los Angeles Rams based on what they've spent on the roster, based on who they have? What's a successful season in your mind?
Minimum NFC championship game.
Win or lose at the minimum.
Minimum.
Now, I think what's getting overlooked is, they're not playing well defensively. I know that Aaron Donald gets tripled and double teamed and all that stuff. Von Miller's made very little impact over there so far.
He's injured.
He's playing, though. He's playing.
Huh?
He's playing.
He can be playing all he wants. Doesn't matter. This guy's fucking injured.
Hey, if you're on the field,
they got damaged goods from Denver.
Well, that's that. Then you'll make that trade. So the minute you make that trade and you put him on the field, he's got to play. Otherwise, it's going to be counted as a bust. So I'll just say, I don't have a great expectation for that team. I the way I've seen them play now, I'm not sure you're going to. I think you've seen their best. I don't know if this is going to get turned around. They don't run the football well enough. And I'm sorry, Matthew Stafford, while played on bad teams, never came up big in a big spot. And I think that's something that'll carry over here. I don't know yet, Jeff, at this point. Can we pick the two best teams in football right now?
Oh, man, I don't know if I'm going to pick the two best teams, but I think I would pick the two teams that I think that may end up having the best chance to get in.
Okay.
And I would say that I'm going to go with the Chiefs for the third year in a row.
Okay.
And I hate to say this because I've learned to dislike this person very much, and that's the Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, that's a good call.
I do not like Aaron Rodgers, the way that he's handles himself, the way he's been acting and everything else, the way he looks. I just don't understand. Aaron Rodgers used to look like a likable type of person.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is with the new look, the new attitude. And, listen, if you don't want to be vaccinated, and that's fine. You don't have to be vaccinated.
Sure.
Don't turn around and say something and be like, well, I could see how that misled people. You're a fucking football player, you dickhead. You know if it's misleading somebody or not.
Yeah.
If you weren't vaccinated, just say, listen, I didn't get the vaccine. Antonio Brown didn't give a flying fuck. Got busted with a fake card.
Yeah.
By the way, 3-game suspension for that idiot.
I heard today coming home. We're back in week 16. So, hey, listen,
And unfortunately, 2 weeks they projected him to be injured. You know what they should do for him?
What?
They should turn around and say, you're injured? Okay, no problem.
Suspension.
Let us know when you're done. Now you get your 3 fucking games. Fuck you.
Yeah. Listen, it would serve him right. Listen, I'm all for vaccinate yourself. Don't. The courts are coming down on the mandates. The courts are backing up the people, saying you can't force people to get vaccines. So thank God there's some people out there who are using their head.
It seems to be slowing down across the board, isn't it?
Yeah, everywhere he turns, every one of his lawsuits or people are challenging his mandates, and they're losing, and the mandates are losing. So they're basically telling you can't tell people what to put in their bodies, and it's going to wind up in the Supreme Court. But listen, it is for some, but there's a lot of people out there who are either losing their job or going to lose their job or may have lost their job, and now we'll be able to go back and maybe get their job again. So we'll see. I mean, again, get it, don't get it. It's no bearing on me. I did. I got my vaccination unhappily, but I got it, and it is what it is.
That's a question for another time.
Exactly. So that's the Rams. I'll tell you. So we did touch on this briefly Sunday, but I get so excited for this, and I know it's a very long off possibility. The likelihood is probably not going to happen, but let's be honest. How much fun for 2 weeks would it be? Tom Brady versus Bill Belichick in the Super Bowl. I take out that you hate them. I get it. But think about all of the things that will go on, all the conversations, and honestly, truly, it puts the stamp on, the legacies. I think it would be fantastic for the game.
No, it wouldn't be. No, it wouldn't.
You wouldn't like it.
You know what it is? It's
What?
me getting a root canal every day for like however many teeth I have.
Yeah.
32 teeth, whatever it is that we have, 34 teeth.
32. Okay.
1 week, one tooth once a week. No anesthesia either.
No anesthesia.
No local, no nothing. No, absolutely nothing. Not even any fucking.
But just think about the possibilities of that game. How many? Just the interviews on Belichick alone would be worth the wait for this. I mean, it would be such a.
We would be getting the root canal while having hemorrhoids and eating nothing but spicy food. It would suck going in and suck even worse coming out.
But you got to admit, it would be intriguing for a game. I got to ask the question: would you watch the game?
No,
you would not watch.
No, I would not. I could not bring myself to watch that.
All right, let's say you did. Let's say you wound up coming to a party and the game was going to be on. Who would you root for?
Nobody.
You would just root for what? A tie? The game?
Nothing. I would just wish that it would be 0-0 and it would just go on for infinity.
I'd have a tough one on that. I'd tell you
the truth. Things I would rather watch and experience before I see that happen.
Go ahead.
Okay?
Yeah.
I would rather watch. I don't even want to say some of the things I'd rather watch. That's just how bad that I don't want to see that.
I would be rooting for Belichick. I have to admit, I'd be caught in the middle. I'd be rooting for Bill. I do. I love Belichick from his Giant days. So yeah, that's where I would be going.
I could think of 1,000 reasons for each one of them to lose. Listen, I would rather have kitten soup than watch that game. Okay, I just can't stand it for either one of them.
How would you create this kitten soup? What kind of season?
It's the same way we would do other soup, Tom. It would start with a pot of boiling water and add ingredients.
All right, I'm just curious. But I've
ever made any or had it. I'm just saying I just cannot bring myself to watch them fucks again. I can't.
How good are the Patriots though? You got to admit he's got them playing really well. 8-4,
a little bit above average. 8-4, Tom.
I think it's better than that. This is a good football team. They beat the Titans. Just beat the Titans. This is going to be a big Monday night. Yeah.
Yeah. So okay.
This is going to be a big Monday night game. I'm
not doing anything for me. You're not convincing me.
Oh,
when you got a team that the Jets beat, and you're comparing them, come on, you got to do better than that.
I think this is going to be a fantastic game Monday night, and in Buffalo. Sure, it's going to be cold. The rookie mac and cheese, as my man Rafael Esparza calls him.
What school did he come from, that guy?
Mac and cheese, Alabama.
Nice warm weather country. Warm weather school.
He's playing well up there right now.
Listen, I'm hoping that it's so cold up in Buffalo that his thoughts freeze to his lips that he can't even fucking talk.
It's going to be a good football game. That will be a Monday night game that I stay up to watch. We'll go through the NFL schedule for this week. I do want to talk a little bit about the NFC East before we get off of football and go to the Jets Giants. We're going to talk about the Beatles documentary. I do want to talk a little bit about who's going to win the NFC East, Jeff, because I know that you're going to pick Dallas, but I just want to run through the 4-team schedules and see if we can kind of nail down how many wins for each team going the rest of the way. Would you mind?
Of course not. I like doing stuff like this because I already know some teams are behind the 8 ball.
Okay, so let's get the Dallas Cowboys schedule out. So Dallas is now. Let me get my pen. Let me just find my pen right here. Okay, so Dallas at the moment, is 7-4, right? They're playing tonight against New Orleans. So let's get their schedule up here, Jeff. You got New Orleans tonight, Jeff. You giving them a win or loss tonight?
I'll go with the Cowboys.
Okay, so win tonight. They get
I got my fucking perfect hat on for this.
I see that. Yes, I see that. They go to Washington to play the Washington football team, or the Redskins, as we call them.
That's a rough one, man.
Go ahead. So how you going?
I'm gonna go Redskins on that one.
Okay, so a loss for the Cowboys. Then they're gonna go come back and play the New York Football Giants on the week 15 in New York.
That's a win.
Okay. They go again and play the Washington football team, but this time in Dallas.
That's a win.
You got a win there, Jeff? Hold on a second. Just making sure. Where is? Just making sure my computer's charging. Yeah. Okay. So you got a win there. So win, loss, win, and you're giving them a win again, as you said. Week 16 in Washington.
You're gonna split with Washington.
Okay, so there's a win there, and then they go week 17 in Dallas against the Arizona Cardinals.
Cardinals.
Okay, and then they finish the season in Philadelphia against the Eagles.
They're gonna beat the Eagles.
Okay, so you're giving them 1, 2, 3, 4 more wins. So you got them 11-6 for the season.
Sounds about right.
Okay, let's go back. I want to do. We're going to do the Washington football team's schedule. The Redskins, as I like to call them. Okay, so the Skins full schedule, starting with this week. Let's see, week 13. Okay, the Skins at this point, Jeff, are 5-6.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. They will be playing this Sunday. Let's see. Yep, against the Raiders in Las Vegas.
I would love to see them beat the Raiders.
And
speaking of Raiders, where's that little fella?
I have not heard from the little fella.
We're going to have to, I have an idea to lure him out of hiding.
You're going to lure the little fella out of hiding. You got a plan. Yeah,
yep.
Interested in the plan? Oh, as always, we'll see what you got. They got to win there. Then they're playing the Cowboys. You had given them a win, the first one against the Cowboys.
They're going to split against the Cowboys.
Right. Yep, I got you. Then they play the Eagles in Philadelphia.
I win.
Okay, you got 3 wins in a row. Cowboys, we're giving them a loss because we're splitting it. Then they play Philly again.
A win.
Well, they're going to sweep Philly. And then they get the New York Football Giants to finish the season.
Jeez, man, that's a lot of NFC East. They're going to be tired by that point in time. I'm going to go with the Giants on that one.
Okay, so we're giving them a loss. So you're giving them 1, 2, 3, 4 wins to finish the season. So they will finish the season 9-7.
Well, 9-8 or 10-7.
Sorry, it would be 9-8. You're right. I'm sorry. It's 1, 2, 3 losses. 2 losses, so 9-8. You're 100% correct. So they finish at 9-8. Then we finish 2 games out. So we could go through the Eagles and the Giants. Let's do it for the fun of it before we move on to the Beatles documentary. We might as well just finish it up the right way. I'm sure I know how this is going to go, but so the Eagles, full schedule. Let's see. And they are, I believe, also 5-6 at this point.
Okay. I don't know what their record is.
We'll have to check it right now. So I'm going to go back 2 spots and just pull up their win-loss is 5-7. Okay. So 5-7 Eagles, not 5-6. They're 5-7. And let's go, Jeff. Full schedule. And Eagles, Jeff. Oh, boy. Okay, so week 13, they play this Sunday against your beloved Jets in New York, or in New Jersey, I should say.
I think they're gonna beat the Jets.
Okay, they have a bye week in 14. They get Washington. Now you gave Washington 2 wins over them, so I'm gonna give them the two losses here. You have them week 16 against the Giants. You gave the Giants the win there, so there's another loss. You get Washington football team. You gave it another loss. And then they finish up against the Cowboys, and I believe you had given them a win against the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Yep. No, you gave them a loss. I'm sorry, you gave them a loss. I'm looking at my Dallas one. So you got one. You got one more win, so you got them going 6-11 to finish the season.
Yeah, I don't see them. I don't believe in them.
Okay. I don't even know if I want to do the Giants because I just know where it's going to go. So I think it's best if I just leave it there.
Let's do them. Let's do them.
Oh boy, I'm a glutton, I guess. Right?
We have to. We have to.
We have to.
Yeah.
Okay, the current Giants are 4-7 heading into their week 13 game against the Miami Dolphins. Jeff, Giants playing in Miami against the suddenly resurgent Miami Dolphins. Are you giving who's winning this game?
Dolphins.
Okay, then the Giants will be heading on the road to face the Los Angeles Chargers in LA.
Loss.
Okay, in week 15, you have the Dallas Cowboys coming to Giant Stadium.
I believe I said the Cowboys, right?
Yes, you did. So there's a win for the Giants. Week 16 at the Eagles. I believe you gave the Giants a win there. That's 2 wins for the Giants. And then they finish up the season with the Chicago Bears at the Chicago Bears, the New York Giants.
Man, those Bears are terrible. I got to go with Giants.
All right. And I believe you gave the Giants a win against the Giants and the Redskins. So I'm going to give you, that gives me 4 more wins for the Giants, taking them to 8-9 for the season.
I could go along with that as long as they don't make the playoffs.
Well, let me ask you this question. 8-9 could get them in the playoffs right now. That's first off. Second thing off, would you call that the Giants winning 8 games? If they were to win 8 games, would you call that a successful season considering they won 5 last year?
No.
Why?
Well, it's a farce.
It's a farce?
It's a farce.
Why would it be a farce if they won 8 games and just missed making the playoffs?
Well, first of all, you're anointing them as just missing making the playoffs. They didn't just miss the playoffs. They completely overshot or undershot the playoffs.
That's not true. I think you're going to have at least one team in the NFC with 8 wins. I would be shocked if they were all above 9 wins or better. But even if the team that got involved was 9, you would be just missing the playoffs again. It'd be one game off of winning making a playoff.
Nah, they're not ready for it, man. They're not ready.
And I'll be honest with you, I think they have a really good chance of winning this week. I think that Miami's ready for an ass whooping, and I think the Giants are going down there to give them one.
Oh my God!
Yeah, I'm telling you flat out. I'll tell you flat out. But that's okay. I can believe in it. That's all I can tell you. I believe in it. We got some. Let me give you some of the matchups this week, Jeff, and let's do a little. Let's do a little bit of semi or not at all. How's that?
All right.
You ready?
Yes.
Starting with tonight's game, Jeff, with the Dallas Cowboys in New Orleans, semi or Jeff or not at all?
Not at all.
All right. We'll go to Sunday's 1:00 tilts. The Dolphins facing the underdog New York Giants in Miami. Jeff, semi or not at all?
Not at all, but semi in the same route. I mean, I always got to watch and hope that they lose.
That's what you're.
I mean, am I going to actually sit and watch the game? No. Am I going to root for them to lose? Definitely.
All right. How about the Eagles making a second trip in a row up to the Meadowlands to face your beloved Gang Green?
It's probably another loss for the Jets, but
is that a semi or is it not at all?
A little less than a semi.
This is an old school matchup. I'm not sure what your thoughts are, but the Vikings traveling to the winless Lions, semi or not at all?
Not at all. Not at all. The Vikings aren't good enough to catch my interest, and the Lions at 0-10-1 just, man, come on, that's bad. That's bad.
All right. So how about the Cardinals with Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins returning against the Chicago Football Bears?
Maybe to see just how many points the Cardinals could put up and what kind of beating they could lay on the Bears, but definitely not from the Bears aspect. I don't know what to make of Justin Fields. Is Justin Fields?
I don't know if he's playing this week. I don't know if he's playing, but yeah.
Is he a bad quarterback on a bad team? Is he a good quarterback on a bad team with no weapons around him? Is he ever going to come back and do something? Well, I don't know.
I don't know either. I to be honest with you, I didn't like him in college. As far as being a pro prospect, I have not seen anything yet to me that says he's no problem. He's definitely going to be a big time player. So, but he's going to get the shot next year. He's going to be the number one guy next September in Chicago, which this year I'm happy with. The Giants got their pick. We're going to have a very nice pick. Thank you to the Chicago Bears. So we'll see as we get closer to our draft analysis, which will be down the road. Jeff, how about the Buccaneers traveling to Atlanta to play the Falcons? Semi or not at all?
Not at all. I mean, it's important to that division. Of course, it'd be another feather in the cap of the Buccaneers. The loss would hurt the Buccaneers more than it would the Falcons.
Would help the Falcons. Yep, I agree with that 100%.
So I would imagine that they're going to, look to try to take out the Buccaneers and just hurt their playoff chances. Then they can't do nothing else at this time other than be spoilers, the Falcons.
All right. How about Jeff? Does the Colts going to Houston to play the Texans give you a chill?
No. Nobody playing the Texans gives me anything.
How about this? Just sounds like a good game. How about the Bengals at home versus the Los Angeles Chargers?
Yeah, that's definitely a game of two up and coming teams, two up and coming quarterbacks. Somewhere along the line, these guys are going to be in the playoffs against one another. That's what there is to it. It's inevitable. Two young guys like that. So you want to see how each one of them is going to do, and this may be a preview of an AFC Championship game one day.
That's a good thought. How about the Raiders at home versus the Redskins? Does that give you any sort of a warm and chubby?
No, not at all. I would love to see the Washington Redskins beat them by like 35 points.
There'd be a certain elf on a shelf who wouldn't be happy with that, but okay.
Yeah, I know. I would actually like to see them score like 35 points and still lose by 35.
Jeff, how about the Ravens and the Steelers? This is an old school matchup. Baltimore and Pittsburgh. How about that? Does that give you a semi?
It could. Excuse me. What could be a very good game is probably going to be a snooze fest.
It's very possible the way these two teams have played this year. I would agree with that. It could be a very big snooze fest.
It could also be a very good game too. We will have to wait and see on that one. But listen, your two teams in the AFC North, it's going to be a hard-fought game. Unfortunately, it's probably going to be one of those games where it's 3-2 because somebody scored a safety deep into the third quarter with nobody moving the ball. Lamar Jackson with 7 yards rushing and 9 yards through the air. So it's going to be one of those games. You know what I mean?
Understood completely, Jeff. We're running through the games for this weekend. Jeff, this one does nothing for me, but maybe for you. The Rams trying to get rid of their 3-game losing streak by going to staying home and playing the Jacksonville Jaguars. Semi or not at all?
I don't think that one really means anything to anybody. I mean, probably Urban Meyer and Trevor Lawrence want to just go back home and not even come out of the house for this one. But, it's on the schedule. They got to play it. I'm thinking that Jacksonville Jaguars are just what the Rams need to get back on the winning side of things.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Couldn't come at a better time in the schedule. How about the 49ers traveling to Seattle to play the Seahawks division game? Does anything for you?
Yeah, it does, man. It's a possible changing of the guard. Listen, right now at this point in time, you got to think a player on the move. It will be Garoppolo in the offseason.
Very possible, yeah, sure.
Is Seattle a place for him to go? I don't know.
That's a good point. Yeah,
you got to see. You don't know.
Very good point.
They do have Russell Wilson But you know, what are they going to want Trey Lance to get in there and get going? So you don't know.
Absolutely.
But I think that next year at this time, it's Trey Lance's team, and see what happens with Garoppolo.
Yeah.
Where is he going to go?
Well, how about the Chiefs Sunday night games? Chiefs home to the Broncos. Does a little something. Does he get you a little?
Yeah,
I
like watching the Chiefs. The Chiefs have a couple plays that I really like. Whenever I see them, watch them, they do this thing where they kind of go in from the slot to over the middle with Kelsey or was it Percy Harvin? No, that's not Percy Harvin. What the fuck is that guy's name?
I don't know
the fast kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't think of his name.
Yeah. You talking about Tyreek Hill?
Yes, Tyreek Hill.
Okay.
They seem to have a couple of these plays designed for these guys because they work perfectly and they run them a couple times a game. Kelsey is anytime you see him getting the ball thrown to him over the middle is good for some yards, and Tyreek Hill is just forget about the burner.
No,
so it could be good. It could be a good game.
All right, and the last one would be Bills at home versus the Pats. I know you're not a fan of the Pats, but this game's got to get a little bit of blood flow working, no?
Yeah, I mean, I want to see the Bills come out on top, of course.
Okay,
but do they have it in them to win? I don't know.
I don't know. Tough games. A couple good games this weekend, guys. So if you're done with your holiday shopping, after Saturday's championship games, you got to watch Michigan and Iowa on Saturday night, and of course, Georgia, Alabama at 4:00 is going to be a great football game and probably going to decide a lot of stuff. So if you're sitting around this weekend, in between, Santa Claus is coming to town and the Grinch, stick in a little college football and make sure you watch those. Those are the two games. You can watch Cincinnati and Houston. That's got playoff implications. Obviously, Cincinnati, most people's boards is number 4 or 3. Obviously, Ohio State losing to Michigan was a huge change in the thing. Great football game. I don't know if you stopped by that game at all, Jeff. I watched that entire game. Just the atmosphere. They were fist fighting in the hallway. Snow.
No, I didn't see anything because any college football last week. I ended up working, and then when I got home, we had a few things to do. Oh, wait a minute. Yes, I worked Saturday, and we were actually home relatively early, and it just relaxed. I was tired. I didn't even watch much college football. If any,
was good. That was the one great game. I know Alabama and Auburn was a good game. I didn't get a chance to watch that. I was already in Christmas mode, and then I missed the night games because I was watching the Beatles documentary, which we're going to talk about right now.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So, so guys, this Saturday, make sure you watch the college football playoffs. Major implications. With you got coaches leaving. You got Alabama. If they lose that game, could be out of the whole playoffs. Alabama wins. Georgia's still in it. Alabama stays in it probably. A lot of implications here. Does Michigan get in? Does Notre Dame find a way to sneak in? And I feel bad for those kids. Their coach quits on them with little to no notice. But we'll talk about that a little bit later in the show.
There's a couple different things going on college football-wise, I see.
Yes.
Coaches going, players looking to get transferred, a whole bunch of shit going on.
Well, I mean, listen, you know that now with the transfer portal, players are bouncing around. It's like free agency. But the coaches thing, I mean, listen, Brian Kelly's leaving Notre Dame after 12 seasons. He's number 6 right now, has a chance to make the playoffs. And before the week, Notre Dame, because they're not tied to a conference, has no championship game. So they would need a couple good things. They would need a couple big things to happen in front of them to get to the playoffs and to the 4 spot. But not out of the question. And Brian Kelly's leaving Notre Dame to go to LSU, and I just don't know how that's a better move. I somebody has to explain to me, if you're coaching at Notre Dame and you're successful, I don't know how you walk away from Notre Dame to go to LSU, Jeff. I just don't understand it.
The only thing I could possibly think of is that, first of all, why is the guy from LSU gone? What did he do? He did something stupid, didn't he?
Ed Orgeron, no, they just haven't been good the last few years. He didn't do anything stupid ever since Burrow won this.
They said it's something he didn't handle, some sexual
Well, yeah, I mean, there was
charges the right way or something.
Yeah, I think there was a couple of issues, but I don't think it was anything that he couldn't recover from. The bottom line is he just wasn't winning, and they were going to make a change, and he stuck around. Wow, look at John just put up this. It is time for this team to move on from Mike Tomlin. John must have been listening to us. He's funny as hell. So anyway,
Yes.
so yeah, I mean, I just don't know why Kelly would leave Notre Dame. It's one of the most prestigious jobs in all of college football, maybe in all of football, and to leave to go to LSU, leaving to go to Alabama, leaving to go to maybe to Michigan makes more sense, but it certainly doesn't make any sense to me to go to.
You got to think too, Tom. There's certain colleges, Notre Dame, maybe Oklahoma, maybe Alabama, maybe Clemson. These are teams where, you've made it to the top of your field. The top
I agree.
Ohio State.
Yeah.
So once you're winning there, maybe you need to prove that you could win someplace else. And LSU isn't a bad landing spot. That just a couple of years ago they were pretty good. They were a machine.
Yeah.
So listen, you got yourself the chance to rebuild LSU. You're going to get put on the map if that team starts to win, and it would be, to me, a no-brainer that you want to go to the NFL. If you're successful there, you were successful at Notre Dame, now you're successful at LSU. You're pretty much going to go there and say, "Here, just give me the check so I can put my number on there."
Well, I think he got the check that I'm sure about, and you're right, Jeff. I that's a great point. I just to me, wait till this weekend's games are over and see if Notre Dame has a chance to make the playoffs. To walk away from the team at this point, it just didn't make any sense. To hold it for a week in your back pocket and then we'll see what happens. If you don't make the playoffs, then you can leave and let somebody else coach the team in the bowl game. But it's just typical of today's game. And the way the guy ghosted everybody and his goodbye to the team was brutal. And it's just it's one of those guys that if you're an LSU player or a recruit, you're definitely going to you might think twice about playing for this guy. Based on what you just saw this past week.
There's Joe Flynn. What's up, Joe Flynn?
Hey, Joe Flynn. Jeff, let's get to, again, Hard Rocket Sports. Jeff Towinski, Tom Florio here every Thursday night, 7 to 9:30, bringing you the biggest news from around the world of hard rock, heavy metal, and, of course, the wide world of sports. We got a little Iron Maiden tour, but right now I want to get to, we haven't talked a lot about anything but sports to date. Yankees, Mets we did. We're doing a lot of football. We'll do a little bit more before the show's over. But, Jeff, I know you haven't had a chance to watch it. Joe, listen, we talked about Matthew Stafford and his underachievements so far. And he throws great touchdowns to the other teams. That much I can tell you.
Listen, Matthew Stafford could go to the playoffs, but it doesn't mean that he's going to win.
Yeah.
Anyone could go to the playoffs.
At this point, 7 teams getting in. Sure, why not? Big game, no score in the first half, 5 minutes in the first quarter. Dallas has the ball, driving a little bit. I guess ready to go for a field goal here in New Orleans. Pretty boring game so far. So, Jeff, let's talk a little bit about the Get Back documentary, which is the Beatles documentary, a film that's been in the drawer, so to speak, for 50 years. And I know you haven't seen it yet. I've only seen one of the episodes, but I have to tell you, whoever came up with this, whoever found this, is brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant.
Give me a little background on what's going on with
it. Here's the deal. So the Beatles are at the end of their run. They're coming up with I think it's their second to last album. And then the last album I think is Let It Be. So they haven't toured in a while. They've done some albums, but they haven't toured in I think 3 years. And the bulk of this is they all know it's coming to an end. So they're trying to make one more performance, and they want to have one album. They're trying to create an album. So they finally get everybody together, and they go, okay, the target date for the show is January 19th. I think it was a Monday. We don't know where it's going to be. We need you to come up with 14 new songs. We need you to record the 14 songs, work on a show, and let's go do the show in 3 weeks. So,
Nice.
right. So they get the guys together. They rent this studio out someplace, and they show up every morning. It's a big warehouse. The acoustics are terrible, but it's the Beatles. And what I love about it, first off, the film itself, and when you watch it, Jeff, and you have to, I swear to God, I'll explain why. The film itself is just crystal clear. It's not like one of those old videos where it's grainy and you see the like the old 8mm where you see like the imperfections and the cuts. It's beautiful. The sound quality ain't great, but it's just a bunch of boom mics up and they're catching bits and pieces and they're trying to dive in. And what it basically is the four guys. Ringo's on the drum riser. You got Lennon and McCartney and Harrison, and they're just sitting around and they're playing riffs. And I got this, and you got that, and you watch them developing these songs. Some of them that became, at one point you're watching Paul McCartney sitting at the piano and he's playing "Let It Be" before it's "Let It Be."
Yeah.
You're watching McCartney and them. They're playing "Get Back," and they got the rhythm, and all of a sudden McCartney's doing, and he's just like mumbling words, and then he's coming up with phrases, and you go, that stays in the song. And you're watching these four guys sit down and write this music that 50 years later people are still playing. And it's just the process of doing it, and then looking at the body language and how much they didn't want to be there and how much they probably didn't like each other. It is absolutely one of the most fascinating things I've ever watched in my entire life.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying that.
Oh, man.
You got to think the Beatles, would they break up in 68 or something like
69,
that?
69. I think their last performance was January of 70, if I'm not mistaken.
It's anything is possible, but I don't think that they even went that far.
Hold on. Abbey Road performance. Let me see.
And the reason that I say that is because, if it was 68, 12 years later, John Lennon gets killed.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Let's see. The Abbey Road Wikipedia.
Joe Flynn listed drugs used recording Yellow Submarine. A lot of submarine-shaped pills, I guess.
Oh, definitely. Okay, so Let It Be came out in 70. That's the album. But where was the Abbey Road performance? Released in September of 69. I'm just trying to find where they did the recording history. The first session for Abbey Road began on February 22nd, 1969. I'm just trying to get the end of this come together. Let's see.
Last Beatles concert was looked like. Wait a minute. August 29th of 66.
No, that may have been their last concert, but this was their last performance. Hold on, for the Beatles. I'm just doing the same thing. I just want to get it right. The documentary.
Last public concert.
Yep.
Was August 29th, 1966.
Okay, final Beatle performance was January 30th,
1969.
Okay, so, and the last album came out in 70. So they broke up, I think, right before that. There was a whole story that I read this week where McCartney was working on his first solo album, and he put it out right before the Beatles put out their last album. And Ringo Starr went to McCartney's house and said, "Hey, can you do everybody a favor and not put your album out because we don't want people to know that we're officially broken up?" And McCartney basically physically threw him out of the house.
Really?
Yeah, it was. I'm telling you, it's just fascinating, Jeff. You're talking about two of the greatest songwriters of all time, one of the best bands of all time, because 50 years later, people are still playing it, and you're sitting there and you're watching them hang out, and you see the body language. At one point, I'll give you a little bit of a spoiler. Harrison quits in the middle of all of this.
Really?
And they talk about bringing in Eric Clapton to replace him.
Wow.
And the first episode ends with them I think it's all of them at somebody's house. I think it's Harrison's house. I guess basically trying to talk him into coming back, and how it's almost like the Spinal Tap when Nigel quits and they're going to continue on because Harrison leaves, he doesn't come back, and you see McCartney and Lennon just continue to work without him. And it's just, Yoko Ono sits next to John Lennon the entire time. And the one thing I'll tell you is I've never seen so much smoke in one place in my entire life. Everybody smoked like it was the oxygen you needed to breathe. I swear to you, it's like they're either eating, smoking, or playing. And it's just amazing to watch these guys play. And then they start riffing out on other people's songs, and they come up with the 14. And again, like I said, they got 3 weeks to write 14 songs, record them, and then decide where they're going to play. And you're watching, where all these different places they talked about playing, and then they haven't gotten to where they picked it yet. But just to be a fly, I mean, think about it. If you could ever go back in time and say, hey, I'd like to be in the room when Black Sabbath's writing Paranoid, the album, or Sabbath, the first album, you would find it fascinating. And then you're sitting there and you're watching these guys who are basically coming unglued and about to move on from each other. We all know the history of it. And you're watching them put together an album with songs that are classics. They barely liked each other, but the way how can I say, the way that they worked to put this together was amazing to me. How they
goes to show you that when it comes to writing a song, if you're with the right people, I guess no matter what happens, you're gonna write a good song. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I guess, it's just, like I said, you could see that at this point, McCartney's taking over. He's kind of like the engine pushing everybody along. But it's such a fascinating look into how this all worked that I'm telling you, whether you're, and again, I say this all the time, I'm not the biggest Beatles fan in the whole world. But when you watch this and you go, this is legendary, and you're watching these guys up on there and they're just riffing, and next thing you know, the song was, coming together, and all of a sudden it's finishing. You're like, holy shit, that's how they came up with that riff. That's how they came up with that song.
Joe, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I was just saying the same thing. Sabbath
was all Randy. What are you talking about?
I think he meant Ozzy was all Randy.
Well, I don't know about that.
Yeah, I'm guessing that's what he meant, because
Sabbath and Ozzy don't autocorrect ain't that bad.
Interesting. And Amari Cooper just hits a big shot down the field. Cowboys threatening at the Saints 35-yard line with 2 minutes and change in the first quarter. So again, Jeff, I don't know if that interests you at all, but it's like watching a piece of history, right? It's like sitting there and watching them come up with the Declaration of Independence. It's like, to me, it's like that kind of history.
Well, yeah, of course it is. It's music history and everything else, and there's probably not many other albums. When you think about what the album turned out to be, too, that makes it even more. But more than one person, I've seen them say, that this, if anything, whatever this movie showed, was how what's her face,
Yoko
Ono helped break up the Beatles.
Yeah, again, you just see she doesn't leave him. Now, I don't know if that's him wanting her there, is her be, but she's the only wife, girlfriend who's constantly. I think that in the first 3 hours, there's maybe 10 minutes all told that you don't see her sitting directly next to him. Now, there's some parts where you see McCartney's girlfriend, I think it is at the time, and Harrison's wife or Ringo's girlfriend or whoever talking, But when the guys are playing, they're usually just the four of them and her. But it's just amazing to watch all these together.
A clip of it where she's sitting like right next to him, like the seats were attached. Listen, I've played in bands since I got back into playing over 10 years ago, and God knows how many different bands. I could probably count on one hand how many times my wife has actually come to a band practice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's she's more than welcome to come to any practice, whatever I do, music wise. She wants to come to practice, whatever. I don't have no problem with that. And she knows that. But she never would ever. I think she's come to 1 or 2 practices, and that was it. She just never wanted to do it.
Yeah, I get it. Like I said,
I know you can't compared to one of the bands I was into. The
No,
Beatles.
but I get what you're saying. You know, it's. I understand it, but it's just an interesting dynamic. It's just an interesting dynamic, and like I said, you're watching the end of the Beatles. They obviously know what's coming. They haven't performed. This is '69, and you have they haven't played together since 1966. I mean, if you think about the run of the Beatles, in '60 they're playing, small clubs in Liverpool and Birmingham or whatever, in Hamburg in Germany. And '66 they're playing their last show. '70 they're putting out an album, and that's it. 10 years, and only 4 or 5 of those are big concert years, and they're still one of the biggest bands of all time, if not the biggest band of all time.
So, and when you think about how fast time goes, we talk about this from time to time, and that their last show, our public show, was in August of '66, and then they did this show in '69.
Yep.
And then Lennon gets fucking shot and killed in 1980.
Yeah.
10 years goes by quick.
Oh, yeah.
And you got to think, like, in all of that time that, that feud doesn't look or seem like it was anywhere close to cooling off to the point where these guys would reunite.
Yeah, it's a good, it's a fair question to ask. Would they have ever played together again? And who knows? I mean, I have no idea. I would tend to think that they would have. I think that at some point in the last, 50 years, I could see all 4 of those guys getting on the same stage. Now, Harrison dies in 2001. Would that have brought them the 3 remaining members together? Who will obviously will never know.
Well, didn't they play a show or two, the 3 of them?
I don't know. It's very possible. Yeah, it's possible. I don't know that for a fact.
I think they did something, but you know what? Even at that, you have McCartney and Ringo Starr. I mean, I think they played maybe once or twice here and there.
Mm-hmm.
They never did anything. Like, you wonder, like, why wouldn't you do something like play a show where McCartney plays or Ringo plays and McCartney plays, and then they come out with Ringo and Paul and friends, and they do nothing but Beatles stuff,
Yeah, listen, I think it's fair, and it would have been huge. I mean, there were talk for years that they were going to do that and bring in Lennon's son Julian to play, and it just never seemed to go anywhere. But there's always been that rumor running around. Same thing with Zeppelin and Bottom's Kid, and how many of that stuff ever comes? They did something, right?
Shows, yeah.
But I mean, there was talk of that with Julian Lennon, and it never went anywhere. And I don't know if Julian Lennon was good enough to be up on stage playing in place of his dad with the Beatles. Who knows? I have no idea. But like I said, Jeff, my talk on this is in a couple of weeks from now. Hopefully you'll have a chance to see it. Paul's going to come on with us, and we're going to talk about it together to do it. But I think it's one of the most interesting documentaries. It's well done. I mean, the film itself, here's my idea, I could say is, where's this been for 50 years? I mean, they say this stuff's been in a drawer someplace for 50 years, and nobody's put it out. It's just amazing to me.
Tom, God only knows. Think of the stuff that never seen the light of day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and Joe, who the fuck knows? There's hardly any Stones and Beatles left.
Yeah.
Who knows? And at this point in time, does anybody really want to see that? I don't care if either one of them ever make new music.
Yeah, I'm not sure you're going to see any of that. Nice throw by Taysom Hill. Now the Saints have crossed 50-yard line. Yeah, like I said, Jeff. If you get the chance, if you can't watch it on your TV, download the app on your tablet, and I'll feed you my info. But it's absolutely positively worth.
I can't. There's reasons, the dumbest of reasons why.
Okay.
I can't watch this on TV. And one is just I lost a remote to one TV. I got to go over the weekend and get a replacement remote. So I can't access where some of the other apps are on one TV. And then the other TV, my big TV, shuts off every fucking like 15 minutes.
Shuts off?
2 years old, this fucking TV. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with it.
Yeah, I got a TV that does that once in a while too. And all of a sudden it'll just shut off. Actually, it just shuts the picture. The audio still goes. You have to shut the TV off and turn it back on, and it comes back on. But Also check my apps are on. Like I go to my Comcast, which is my cable provider, and then there's a button you push and it takes you to like guide and say a DVR, and one of them says is apps, and I get it through that app, and I signed up for 1 month, $7.99, and I got Disney Plus for 1 month. It's got some decent stuff on it, but I did it for the documentary. I want to see it, but don't sign up
recently. That you signed up
Saturday
just passed.
Just Saturday night. We were sitting there, me and my wife. We wanted to watch it. Okay. Right on my cable thing. Boom, boom, boom.
How long is the episode?
3 hours.
3 hours.
3 hours.
Wow. And there's 3 parts.
3 parts. The second one, I believe, is also 3 hours. And then the last one's 2 hours and change. But the last one, I think, is the actual performance on the rooftop at Abbey Road Studio. So, again, I believe all three episodes are out right now. And I'm looking forward to this weekend.
How do you feel knowing that you never really got into the Beatles?
It's weird.
Feel as though you were odd or what?
I don't know. It was, I don't know. When growing up, my house was full of Elvis. Wasn't a lot of Beatles playing around. There's a lot of Jive 5 and the Temptations. My parents didn't listen to the Beatles. So it wasn't around my house a lot. I respect the Beatles. I love McCartney. There's a lot of Beatles tunes I love, and there's a lot I couldn't spend 3 minutes on. I wouldn't say I'm not a fan, but I would not say I'm the fan in the respect of my fandom for, say, Iron Maiden or yours for Black Sabbath. I like them, but I'm not crazy about them.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, sometimes I just wonder, when I think of Paul, he's basically our age, and he's a big Beatle fan, and so is his brother and a couple other people that we were growing up with. And I wonder if we missed the boat on that.
Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, it's possible. I think that's just, you just said it. I think that Paul having three older brothers, and 2 of them being musicians, and Eddie and George, and both big Beatles fans. That pushed Paul into that category. And then, but to me, I never had that link. But I like the Beatles. I don't watch their movies. I don't go crazy running around. Yeah, I'm running around there, but I respect it. And then, like I said, after you watch this, it's impossible to not like this documentary. I haven't seen anybody yet who's knocked it, Jeff. I think it's
well, at this point, I don't think anybody's going to watch it, invest 3 hours into it to sort of take a knock the Beatles.
Well, again,
I think if you're asking somebody to watch almost 9 hours of footage, that there's better things they can do than sit there and watch that.
Oh, absolutely. Again, I think the biggest thing out of it is you're watching the end of a legacy, a Legends, but you're watching the big thing for me. It's like being in a scientist's lab as he's trying to create a vaccine or a potion or some sort of invention, and you watch it come together. You know what the outcome's going to be. You know what the end's going to be because it's already happened. But now you're getting to watch that process, and to me, that is the most fascinating part of this. So, like I said,
I hear you.
I highly, highly recommend it. If you get the itch to watch it, like I said, let me know, and I'll absolutely feed you.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind trying to watch it.
Yeah, it's definitely worth it. So, but and like I said, a couple weeks from now, hopefully Jeff and I have watched the whole thing. Paul's going to do it, and we'll get together and compare some notes, and maybe we'll get some people on. I'd like to get Pete Begley. I'm curious to see what Pete would think of that. Pete's a big Beatles guy, so
he's heavily into it.
Yeah, so let's see what happens. But again, Hard Rock and Sports, Jeff and Tom hanging in. I got about 15 more minutes. Hey, Jeff, big Iron Maiden show's coming up. We got big announcement that they're going to be touring the Northeast, North America, and all over the country and a little bit of the world, some festivals. Any excitement in your end for the Maiden? There's going to be a Legacy of the Beast tour. Some of the new stuff, but a big punch of old classic Maiden coming up next year.
No, because of Yannick Gears. I'm so tired of watching that idiot run around. You got to be fucking kidding me. It's like, so they told him, the doctor told him, you got to get 20,000 steps in every day. So he goes and plays with Iron Maiden and throws his guitar around. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I gotcha. I'm torn about it. To tell you the truth, I think I'm going to try to go. They have a couple of shows. One's in Newark, one in Long Island, and I think another one upstate. I was actually thinking about trying to catch a show in Florida, go on a vacation, and then while I'm there, hit the show. So I might do some more.
You talk to Florida has been cooling off a little bit lately, I see.
No, just not much to talk about right now. Just, I know what I want to do, and I'm not sure the time frame of it yet, but no, I think nothing's changed. We're hoping in the next 5 years, that might be a place we might be. I think it's more probably closer to my retirement time, but we'd like to try to buy a house in Florida over the next couple of years and spend our vacations there and spend some winters there.
What are you going to do if you get your house in Florida and then all of a sudden a Democratic governor comes in?
That's a great question. Yeah, that is a great question to ask. I don't know the answer to that. I might have to move back to New York. I'm not sure, but right now I want to live it. You know what? If there was a day or two last week, I think it was, I walked out of my house and the wind hit me at 5:00 in the morning, and I went, "This is why I want to go to Florida. I can't take this anymore."
Oh, stop!
I'm telling you, I hate the.
Listen. There hasn't been one fucking cold day yet this winter. Stop.
You're very wrong on that. You're very wrong.
You don't live in Florida, please stop.
You're very wrong on that. There's been enough. Again, and then you're right. And here's the thing. You're right. It's not been brutal. There's been plenty of days. There's plenty of days coming up where it's going to be, 9 degrees and 8 inches of snow. And I'm going to go, I really hate this. But it's just a simple fact that I don't want to deal with the cold anymore. And the Saints just tied up the game.
I'm looking forward to snow up the ass this year. Okay, I got the new tires on the truck. I'm looking forward to fucking snow on top of snow on top of snow. It's here where I can fucking drive anywhere I want to go. That's one thing.
I like snow myself.
Okay, so that being said, I'm looking forward to using the truck and the 4-wheel drive. As far as the cold goes, okay, it has not been cold. I've been wearing the same Carhartt sweatshirt to work all winter long so far. Okay. All winter long. It's not even winter. It's still fall. Okay, technically. It's not winter yet. and it's, come on, man. Come on. It's not bad.
I didn't say it was bad. I've got to a point in my life where I don't want to deal with the cold weather anymore.
Oh, my God. No.
Listen, I love it at this point in the year. I hope to spend the weeks before Christmas in New York for the rest of my life. But after, December 26th, be on a flight to someplace warm and feet up in the pool watching Sunday football games in my shorts.
No.
That's what I'm hoping.
No.
So we'll see. Listen, it's not around the corner, but it's down the road. And I'm hoping that if it comes through, if it doesn't, listen, I could be happy living here the rest of my life. I have no problems with that. But that is the long range plan.
I think you should think of others.
I think I am thinking of others. I'm making sure that I'm happy.
Well, you should think of others before you worry about yourself.
Well, it's an interesting take on it.
What am I supposed to do?
We'll still be doing the show.
So that's it. That's it.
Do the show.
That's it.
Listen, it's not like I'm never going to come back up here, but I will be.
I already know what's going to happen.
What's going to happen?
Explain to you what's going to happen.
Go ahead. You got it.
Okay. Now I don't care if I guilt trip you or not because.
Oh boy, here we go.
Okay. Everybody I know is moving.
Okay.
Everybody I know is moving. Okay. My brother and parents moved. All right, they just went to Jersey, but they moved.
Right over the bridge.
Then others have moved over the years, and you had Tim Hilton from Red Rum. He moved.
He's in Georgia.
Gary from Red Rum. He moved.
I'm still confused on where he is.
What's that?
I'm still confused. Where is Anthony actually?
I wouldn't be surprised if the motherfucker is in Port Richmond.
Yeah, he seems on a plane every time I look up.
Yeah, and he's pretty big too, man. He better start doing some running around the block a little bit. And then on top of that, I've had a few other ex-bandmates. I've seen them fucking leave. They go. And there's going to be nobody left. Paul lives in Manhattan. there's going to be nobody left. Nobody. I am going to be the Joey Gansas goes to Jersey. His brother's in Jersey with him. I'm going to be the last person of the old crew.
You will
be on staff. I am the last one.
You might just be the last guy. Jimmy's still there.
Well, Jimmy, he's good guy and everything else, but he was like in the second tier. The Bruscos, they disappeared. You know what I mean? It's just I am the last person.
Yeah, okay. Ronnie Momino's in Jersey now too. Yeah, you're right. Everybody's well, maybe that's telling you something. Maybe you should join the parade. Get out of that cesspool of a traffic island.
I can't. If I could, if it was that, you want to hear a funny story today?
I'd love to hear a funny story.
You really want to hear a funny story?
Sure. What the hell?
Okay. I had to go to Queens today.
Wow. You had to leave Staten Island and go to Queens?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yep. Me and a bunch of other people. Okay. I had to go for driver evaluation training.
Okay.
Okay. So I had to leave Queens. And all of a sudden I was like, I didn't get a chance to dump the morning load. Right? Right. So I tried at my house a couple times. I'm like, fuck, this is no good. But I got time. So I go to work. I get there. I go to the bathroom there. I'm like, nothing. So I'm like, all right, looks like I'm taking this puppy out to Queens with me.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. We get on the highway at Slauson Avenue.
Okay.
And it was fucking bumper to bumper to bumper to bumper. A bug couldn't have slipped past any of these places.
Uh-huh.
That's how bad it was. So we're on the bridge. And I told my boss before we left, I was like, listen, I says, I don't know if I'm going to go because, I don't know what's going to happen here. I says, this could rear its ugly head at a bad time.
Huh?
So he was like, well, listen, if you don't want to go and everything else, but I work in the garage, so I'm supposed to be able to evaluate people's driving and stuff like that. I'm trying to really solidify my hold on that position, even though it's mine, but I have other angles I'm working at. Okay.
See you, Joe.
So see you later, Joe. So long story short, I go, we're in the left lane on the bridge heading towards the fucking Bell Parkway.
Uh-huh.
And all of a sudden I was just like, oh God, no. Like that. I was like, gotta get me to a bathroom now. Right now. So everybody in the van looks back at me and I'm just like, sorry, everybody, but this needs to happen now. So they fucking go down. They get off the bridge at 92nd Street, make the first left you can, which is 92nd Street.
Mm-hmm.
When the guy goes to make another left, thinking that it's a Fort Hamilton Parkway, it wasn't. It was the entrance for the bridge.
Yes, you're getting right back on the bridge.
We almost went back on the bridge. So now we're in the wrong side of the street on 92nd Street, bumper to bumper traffic every fucking where. Everywhere. Oh. Yeah. So
are you sweating yet?
I was sweating from when we left Staten Island. I was sweating from when I left my house because I knew this was going to be bad.
Oh boy!
So I go. My boss ends up putting his fucking badge on. He's standing in the middle of the street, blocking traffic off to get the truck through traffic. So I was like, oh man! I was like, come on, guys, let's get this done.
Yeah.
We go down. We're going to go to this place that they know of, but we come across a park instead. Nasty little fucking park pile. So I go in the shitter in there, and I was like, oh my God. It was, dude, convicts in third world countries have better accommodations than I saw there. It was so bad that I was just like, you know what? I'm not even going to sit down. I'm just going to fire this mud puppy right into the corner.
Oh man.
And leave it there and let the next guy come and clean it up.
Come on.
Yeah. But the stall was so small. Like that, I was like, how the fuck am I supposed to get in here? How am I supposed to do this?
Yeah.
It was like an airplane would have been more accommodating.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I think I sent you a picture of it. You got to look.
I got to look. I don't think I saw it.
Well, I eventually made it. Then my boss comes in like, oh, you okay? He's taking a leak and I'm over there fucking finishing up. And I'm like, yeah, everything's great, man. Everything's great. I was like, look at this fucking shithole. There must be roaches in here the size of fucking horses. So we go out to the class. Everything is great. And the class, all he did was read us the same paper that we have at our office. The guy read it out loud. and told us how to do a pre-trip inspection on the truck, which we already know how to do anyway. So I'm like, why the fuck have we been doing this for God knows how long?
Right.
Like, you got to be kidding me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I find out that we can only do certain titles.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's like, so I came all the way out to Queens for this. Then the ride home happened. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm going to be smart this time. Go inside, like, right? Nothing. I get back in the fucking van. We get on the fucking Belt Parkway. The driver misses the fucking exit for the Belt Parkway. All kinds of bad shit's going on, right? All kinds of bad shit. The whole time I'm like, I gotta go. I'm like, I gotta go. Nothing. I get back on the Staten Island. I'm just like, it's gone. So this was the most horrible day in a long time. It sucked.
Yeah, I have to tell you, I have that same fear every afternoon about 3:30. I'm getting ready to leave, between 3:30 and 4. And I go, I have to go to the bathroom because, I have a 2-hour drive. And then, along the way, there are certain spots. So like when I leave the job, from the job to Staten Island, there's nothing.
We are actually talking about where we're going to shit.
Yeah.
Outside
listen, you never know what you're going to get in a Hard Rock and Sports Show. So I have no spot. So I have to make sure that I'm good till I get to Staten. Now, once I hit the island, I have Targhee Street, Home Depot. There's a Home Depot on Targhee Street. I always have, and never like to call on it, but I do have a friend who lives right off the highway off of Bradley and Victory Boulevard. I have a buddy.
No.
Oh yeah.
No.
If that would be an emergency.
I got a gazebo. I'll give you a bucket.
Whatever, that'd be fine for me at this point. And then South Avenue, there's a gas station right there that I could go to. There's also a Home Depot behind there. And then if I take the Outer Bridge, then you're getting close to again Target, and there's some nice bathrooms out there. So once I get on the highway, it's now once I get on the turnpike, it's a little dicey.
Well, listen, if you're iffy and you're still on Staten Island with that many choices and you haven't done anything about it, then you're a fool.
But you also know how it goes. You're sitting there, you get a little rumble, you go, I'm fine. And then all of a sudden it goes away. And the first bathroom passed by, you go, all right, I'll be good. I'm good. And then you get a little more rumble, you go, I don't know, I think I got something brewing here. And you're coming up on that last one and you're going, do I get off? I can make it. It's only a half hour to home. And all of a sudden you pass that last bathroom and all of a sudden you get the gurgle and you're like, uh-oh.
Yeah. Listen, I just hit 55 in July. You know that.
Yes.
Okay? I'm telling you, you get a gurgle, stop.
Yes.
Never ignore the gurgle. Go straight for safety, shelter.
Absolutely. Listen, okay? I hear you.
The Target bathroom, I'll give you another good bathroom instead of, and you're going to appreciate this one. Instead of Home Depot, Kohl's.
Kohl's
on Forest Avenue.
Kohl's on Forest Avenue. Is that where JCPenney's? Oh, it's by Lowe's the other way. Okay.
Yeah. Well, you get off at South Avenue, you make the right. If you're coming down South Avenue, you make the right to the left. The bathroom at the gas station at South Avenue.
Yeah.
No.
I've used it. I've been in that bathroom a few times, so sure. I get it.
But now what they did is they used to have a men's room, a women's room. Now they have a room, and they switched everything.
Yes.
You don't want to go in that one. I went in that one the other day. It was so bad. I thought I was going to shit myself. It was so bad. I walked out, and my wife's like, "What happened?" And I'm like, "It ain't happening here. That's for sure." I was like, "I don't even care." I'm like, "It's not happening here."
Now here in Jersey, there's bathrooms galore. If I'm out of the house, there's bathrooms. I go to any Wawa or Quick Check. Any department store, 90% of the restaurants, you can just walk in and there's a bathroom and it's like the greatest thing in the whole world. New York, forget
it. There's spots, and I got to be honest with you, at this point in time, this is one of the reasons why I love the winter. Because whenever I go in the car, I got a jacket with pockets, fucking butt wipes right in there.
Oh, absolutely. I carry my own.
Phone, my wallet, and my keys in one hand. As long as I got my butt wipes in the inside jacket, like I got my 9, you know what I mean? I got it in the inside pocket, and I'm ready to go.
Yeah, absolutely. I get it. It comes with the age, and I got to tell you though, I have a routine before I leave every day. Whether I think I have to go or not, I go and I give it a shot. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And every once in a blue moon, you're going, all right, this is going to be a little dicey here. Let's see if we make it. And you're doing the sprint and you're taking the belt off as you run into the bathroom, and you're pulling the pants down, and all of a sudden you go, I just want to look back and see it all made it. That's it. There's nothing else you can do.
There was a friend of ours, somebody that we both know, you wouldn't consider him a friend, told me a fucking, I'm not going to announce his name on the air.
Don't announce his name. Yeah, you might not want
to. But I'll tell you in private.
Okay.
He was with his girlfriend, and she was driving. Was he driving? It doesn't matter. One of them was driving, of course, in the car. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden he's like, announced that it's go time. So he's telling her, like, hurry up. She had to be driving. He's like, hurry up, get home. I gotta go. So she's racing to get them home. And all of a sudden he turns around and he's not complaining anymore.
Uh-oh.
So she had a brandy new car. And she asked him, like, what's going on? And he said,
Too late. Oh.
He said he desecrated the sea.
Oh my God. Oh man. That's brutal. Oh my God.
I mean, listen, I don't know. At this point in time, I'm thinking, is it time to start carrying a plastic bag?
Oh, I don't laugh. I carry plastic bag and toilet paper in the back of my truck.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a black plastic bag.
Me too.
So that if you got to jump out of the truck and just let it rip.
Dude, I carry a black plastic bag and toilet paper in my truck for an absolute emergency. What
is your plan?
Well, the plan is 2 plans. Depends on where you are. But if you can't conceal yourself, then you got to go in the very back of the car, close the hatch, and let it rip into the bag. That's it. That's it. That's the plan. There it is. I have wipes, toilet paper.
It's physically impossible. It's never going to happen.
I will tell you,
dude. Unless you've done an emergency drill and know exactly what you have to do.
I'm telling you, as a 2 men sitting here, it is not impossible to have happen. I'm just letting you know.
Well, this is what I'm thinking.
I don't think you want the full story either, so I'm just.
Well, evidently, this
there's a full story to that one.
Has been before.
Remember, just remind me next time we're together to give you the full story. And
don't worry, I will. Yeah. But I'm thinking that the bag has to have holes for the legs.
Nope.
Pre-cut.
Nope. If you do it right, you do not need bag. You just got to be careful that the underwear and the pants are pulled far enough down that we don't get a little bit of leakage. I'm telling you, it's not impossible, my friend.
I'm personally thinking this.
Go ahead.
Okay. I'm thinking that you got to have the bag with pre-cut holes, because if something happens, I'm thinking of worst case scenario.
You can't have holes, because if you feed it through it, that means the stuff's running through the bag and through the holes.
But by the time you get your legs up and into the bags, it's too late as it is.
You're done. I'm telling you, you don't need holes.
I'm thinking that if you got the holes, you could fucking crimp them real quick or whatever, and it's just enough to get back in the car and drive yourself home or to a safe place where you could get this taken care of.
Remind me I'll give you a full detailed story if you need it someday. So I'm just letting you know. Just say, I will never eat black grapes or Caesar salad before I drive in a car. So I'm just letting you know. Sounds bad. So
I used to blame Burger King on Friday afternoons. Now there's like times we go out on Friday and everything will be okay. So it seems. And then I'll tell my wife, it's like, we'll go out to eat. And I'll be like, what do you want to do now? I'd like to go here or go there. I'd like to get this. And we'll be driving there. And I'm like, yeah, everything's good. I'm like, whoop, change of plans, sweetie. We're going home. Like now, yeah. It's not even. Unfortunately, now it's not even gurgle. It's like everything's fine. Problem.
Yeah. No, I get it. Listen, I get it. I again, most of the time here in Jersey, we're out. She said I want to go someplace, and I'm okay. I got to use the bathroom. You go, get started. I'll meet you in a few minutes, and I'm usually pretty lucky. But
isn't it sad that you know more about bathrooms and everything at this point in time of your life?
Yeah, it is sad. But you get to our age, and I know where the bathrooms are when I'm leaving where I am. I know where I can get to a bathroom in a reasonable amount of time. It's just one of those things. Unfortunately,
sometimes the sphincter is not giving you a reasonable amount.
Well, that's just it. So I believe me, there's a checklist whenever I'm leaving. If I know where I'm going and it's going to be a while, I go okie doke. We gotta take an extra couple of minutes and make sure that we do what we can. So, but
oh my God, man, that's some fucking funny ass shit, man.
Literally.
Oh.
Well, guys, we're going to wrap it up right there with this holiday talk.
I don't know how you could ever top that. We may have to cancel the fucking rest of the show. How do you top that?
I don't think you can. Although if I tell you my story, it might top it. We'll see. But listen, it's been a lot of fun. It's been 2.5 hours. Got some good games coming this weekend. Giants and Jets trying to build off the wins. College football on Saturday. Really good games. Again, remember, 4 o'clock, you got Alabama and Georgia. It should be a great football game. Depending on what happens in that game, will determine a lot of things going on. And, of course, the night game with Michigan and Iowa. Michigan needs to win, and they're all but assured a spot in the playoffs. So it should be an interesting Saturday night. Sunday games, Monday night, Pats and the Bills. Again, baseball's got a lockout. And, of course, I'm telling you guys, make sure you watch the Get Back, the documentary on the Beatles. You'll absolutely love it. And, of course, come on back next Thursday night. Jeff and I are going to do this all over again. And, again, we wish Jeff good luck with the new Deceiver band.
We'll see what happens, man. I don't know.
All right, well, listen.
I know this much. I can say it now at this point in time for where I am with certain things. I know the last hurrah is rapidly approaching.
Well, listen, anything's possible. Hopefully it's not. But, by the way, I am trying to sell an amp. I got 3 amps. I got 3 actually now, and I got to get rid of one. I just don't have any room for 3 amps in my house. So if anybody's looking to buy
guitar, are you bringing to the jam? Are you bringing the one behind you to the jam?
I don't know. I probably am going to bring it. I don't think I'm going to play that full time. I would like to hear it in a space. I haven't heard it. Probably be the Gibson, to be honest with you. But I will bring the Kramer with me just to kind of be able to play a song or two on it, just to kind of.
Yeah, you got to bring it, man.
And I figured, if somebody else wants to jump on and play, there'll be a third guitar there. If somebody else wants to jump in and play a song on guitar, there'll be an extra guitar.
I'm looking forward to once again playing and wish that everybody could be there again as usual. But
some are stubborn. Some are stubborn. What can you do? Some are stubborn. Like I said, hopefully Ronnie makes it. And like I said to everybody wants to get together beforehand. Go do a little food before. Maybe get together at 3:30, 4 o'clock, and have a bite to eat, and then go up to the studio for 6. So that's how I'll send that out to everybody. And then I'm learning some new songs.
Let me know. Are you off that day?
I'm not off. For the most part, I think I'm going to work a regular day. I might leave early. Like I said, if it depends on what time everybody's available, but I'd like to leave Brooklyn at 3, come to Staten Island, and then meet up somewhere in the area of the studio. Whether we go to Juicy Lucy or some Italian, some Chinese food place. I would let you guys pick. I'm not as up on the as on the island restaurants anymore, but go have a bite to eat, spend an hour or so before the studio, and then go play for a couple hours, and then go home. So I'm not.
Whatever you want to do. It works for me. Whatever you want.
Yeah, no. Again, said that's what's in my head right now. I don't know who can. I'm sure maybe Jimmy's around. Maybe Bob's going to be on the island hanging with his mom and his brother and all that. So, I'll throw it out there. I think Drew already said he's interested. So, Drew.
Okay.
So we'll see. And I'm glad to see Jimmy Pinto's coming, and hopefully Johnny Collins makes it, and we'll have some fun and some laughs and play. And then who knows after that? Like I said, I've been I haven't been motivated till now, and I started this new guitar theory lessons that really kind of motivating me a little bit to play a little bit. So looking forward to that, and I learned a couple of new songs for this jam, and looking forward to seeing all the guys.
You want to laugh? Last night when I played, everybody in the band is, I shouldn't say about the drummer, but everybody else in the band is like near 55 or over.
Yeah.
Right. So one of the guitar players, they were asking him about something on the back of his amp. And he's like, I don't fucking know what's on the back of the fucking amp. I don't have, where's my glasses? I don't have my glasses with me. And I'm just over there like, what the fuck, man? This is where we are?
Yeah.
We're still playing this shit after fucking some of these songs are fucking 35 years old.
Yeah.
We're still playing it. Every once in a while somebody would rip out a riff of an old song. We'd all start fucking playing it. And then here this guy is trying to set up his shit. And he's like, I don't have my fucking glasses. I leave my fucking glasses at home. I'm just laughing like, the last time I saw you with a guitar, the last thing you needed was fucking glasses.
Yeah, really. Yeah.
And it's like, oh my God, time. Where the fuck have you gone?
Yeah, it's the truth, my friend. It's the truth. I listen. I get it. Believe me, I feel it every day. I do a lot of walking, and the other day I came home and both my hips hurt so bad. And I told my wife, I said, I hate to say this, but my hips are killing me. She said, you kidding me? I said, I can't tell you how much I walked today upstairs and, neighborhood to neighborhood. I must have walked 6 miles. I said, up a bunch of hills, upstairs. And at the end of the day, my hips and my knees were shot. I was like, I pray I can get up to work, go to work tomorrow. Luckily, I bounced right back from it. I was fine. But holy cow, at the end of that day, I think it was Tuesday, I came home and I just sat in a chair and I just was done. Didn't do anything for the show. Didn't do anything but watch TV because my whole lower body was shot.
Damn, that sucks.
Yep. So, but we're getting old, and hopefully we'll still be doing Thursday nights, and hopefully Jeff won't be calling it a career playing. So hopefully we'll all still be getting together for the
I have no choice.
Well, let's see what happens. Lots can happen. Lots can change. Hopefully the new Deceiver will be a blessing, and you'll have some fun.
We'll see what happens, but
we'll see.
I think I'm preparing myself for the inevitable, and then I think my time has come. But whatever, I ain't worried about it right now.
That's it. Just have fun while you're doing it. Again, I got anybody looking for an amp. I'm going to post up on my Facebook this week. I just haven't figured out which amp I'm going to sell.
Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah, I never even heard of that. There's a Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah, you can find it. You can find something.
Okay.
Put it in there.
I think I'm going to sell the Black Star since I already have a Marshall. I think I'm going to sell the Black Star and then keep the Line 6. And I think I'll get more money for the Black Star. But like I said, if everybody's looking, let me know.
Look on Reverb. And see if you can find the amps that you have and see which one is going for more.
Yeah, I guarantee it's the Black Star. I bought the Black Star for $6. I bought the other one for like $2 and change. I got on a super deal. It was like one of those holiday specials, floor models. It was like a $400 amp I got for $240 or something ridiculous. The Line 6.
Was it like the meme I posted the other day?
The meme. Which one was that?
The Black Friday meme where it was Mel Gibson and they're selling the barbecue for $8.99 on Wednesday and then $8.99 on Thursday, and then for Friday they have it $1,200. They got it crossed out $8.99, and he's like, hold, and then the next one he's all full of blood and he's going off. I'm
not sure if it's quite like that, but yeah, I don't know. It was severe markdowns. The guy was just being nice. He's like, I give it to you for dirt. He says, I got to get rid of it. It's either that or I put it up at Panino's and see what happens. Who knows? Maybe John will buy it and put it in the studio.
Yeah. Got that.
Yeah, got it. All right, guys, we're going to call it a night. I love doing this with Jeff, and hopefully I'm going to get to see him before the 28th. I want to see him before Christmas, so we're going to make that happen.
Yeah, I got your Christmas present. The matter of fact, it's just off screen right over there.
All right, well, then hold it over there, and we'll have to get together. Maybe we'll find a Friday night or something. We'll kind of go get a bite to eat with the lives, or I'll come meet you myself. One way or the other, we'll get
whatever you want to do, man. You're always welcome. You know that.
I know that, and yeah, so is everybody else here. They'll come in and tune in with us.
If I get the phone call, coming in hot, have the door open,
Yeah, that could happen someday. that could happen. Jeff, come outside, sit with the car, open the door.
There was actually one day where I called my wife up and I told her, I was like, have the door open. Not like unlocked, have the door open because I'm just bursting in and running straight for the shitter.
I haven't had one of those. Well, I'm sorry, the last story. A couple of weeks, maybe about a week or two ago, we went out and we were pulling up and I said, I'm sorry, I'm not helping with the packages. I got to run for the door. She's like, what's the matter? I said, don't ask. Just I'm running for the door.
Yeah, sometimes I'll ask her, do you have a key? And she'll say, yeah, as I'm driving. And I'll be like, give me your key. Because I don't even have time to fucking get the key out of my trunk.
That's the one great thing. I have the push buttons. So it's four numbers, and I'm writing no keys, no fumbling.
That means nothing to me because you're one number away from devastation.
I keep having this fear that the buttons, the battery will go dead on it, and I'll be screwed.
Oh, God, man.
So,
God, I wouldn't even want to think of that.
Yes, you don't want to think of that. But
oh my God.
Well, let's see. Maybe next week, guys, tune in. We'll have some pee comments or conversations, or maybe it'll be throwback vomits. We'll see what happens. This week was poop. Next week maybe vomit. So tune in next Thursday night. You never know what you're going to hear here on the Hard Rock and Sports Show. Check out the Beatles documentary. Lots of good football this weekend. And make sure you come on back Sunday for the Sunday Audible. And next Thursday, we do this all over again. So I'll give you the last word. Anything you want to end with?
No, how can we top anything that was said here today?
Not sure how we can top
People in Israel right now are sitting there like, what the fuck?
We're running for the hills, Jeff. They're running for the hills.
What the fuck is the matter with these assholes?
That's okay. You never know what we're going to talk about here. But
I know. It's their assholes that are fucked up.
I think you're absolutely right. Oh, my God. All right, so you know what, guys? So for Jeff, myself, and everybody here at Hard Rock and Sports, thank you. Have a great weekend. Have a great week. Enjoy the holidays, guys. It don't last long. Sit down, watch the movies. I highly recommend a bunch of them. We'll talk more about the holidays and what we want to recommend and what we're watching. Make sure you come back and you watch it with us. So for Jeff, myself, and everybody, have a great night, great weekend, a great week. We'll see you here Thursday night. Hefe, have a good one, pal. Talk to you off the air.
Later, man.
Later.
Bye.